be the rotation frags from Complexity, and just didn't work out in their favor. It's a whole war ground, and 3-3 scoreline. Complexity now, Sully. I don't know if they want to go back to what would be their more safe options because
Vct Challengers
simply what they've
pertama
been
mereka
going for
hari
before.
pertama.
But that one was a lot
Oke,
more
aku telah
successful.
bangun. Kita lihat dari tadi malam aku sudah cek kalau misalnya sekarang itu TSM lawan apa kemarin ya? Aku udah cek kemarin sih guys, cuman lupa. Ini udah keluar tadi guys.
And they've got control of this turn. AGM pushed up, Sharky making him contest back towards A main. It's that simple fact that you see a cloudburst, you recognize it's a jet, and you know who's on the jet, so you don't want to take that fight. But XP3 will be flushed out. There's an alarm bot here, though, to at least give them enough time to react. So Equinox, map control loss, will have to try and retake it and play very slow. There will be a V split by the looks of things, unless they want to cancel. And Jonah P looking for a swing.
TSM lawan.
Be able to get much nearly exposed as well, and he'll get a paranoia right back to his face.
Oh, how is this man still alive? Tex had the angle too, but now put him 6 feet under.
TSM lawan Rice menang TSM.
Not only that, but no one towards market. That's still a little bit of information that they could potentially take going forward. But Equinox instead, they want to double back and cat.
This could be big.
Tech still in mid 2, watching out for a couple of rotations, and really Cat has not been all too contested this deeply. It's really just going to have to come down to Ohai, who hasn't had these sort of opportunities, and he still gets one. Sharky sitting up on top. This guy has been an MVP, but he's not going to fight the first contact. Instead, he wants to wait for his teammate, and he wants to take it full on with the entirety of Complexity. Mina in a great angle.
Yeah, remember this HP though for Complexity.
Double actually in Cat.
Yeah, 2 players there. That's actually huge. Oh, hi. What is this?
Oh, man.
Nobody was expecting that, and he finds 3. He finds 2 up for the engagement. What just happened? You blink and you miss it. We didn't even expect Ohai to find 2. Okay, then. Complexity. Well, that's one way to make a retake happen is Ohai go kill, find 2 frags, and, well, they take the lead back just like that. There's not much else to it, I guess.
I was mentioning how Ohai was a little bit quiet, right?
Yeah. Right, and you mentioned 2 players to Calwick, and I'm like, well, Ohai, he's on 50 HP. There should be no way he lives. And then, well, the kill feed lights up with himself. So he's awake now, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Simple way to put it.
Yeah, good morning to Ohai. I mean, he's probably on those, like, demon hour pug sessions anyways. Probably up until, like, 6 a.m. pugging. So I don't blame him.
This is like the afternoon for
Oke, kita bikin
yeah, essentially. I mean, you still got that grogginess even. I don't know. Complexity, I mean, they seem to have woken up, period, throughout this tournament. I mean, early on, still getting on a 4-0 streak, and really Sharky. He's also another one that has woken up. I mean, he didn't exactly have the best of map ones, but essentially out of nowhere, he turned into what was late map Mina, where he's just collecting just a plethora of frags. So many people walking into their crosshairs, and speaking of walking into crosshairs, XP3 getting it 2 easy ones over towards Cat. Again, it's eco here, Sully, so not really much to worry about, but Equinox, they're not able to get really any space out of this. With so many rounds left, economy is still in the balance, so maybe a couple of exit frags could really help them out, but I don't think there's too much luck for him. Let's catch off Sharky, what would be a little bit easier of an angle. Spots out the shoulder, but Jonah P, welcome back too.
Make space for Sharky is what Jonah P's been doing, right? He had like 27 frags in that first map, and at one point was 24 and 7. Now Sharky 12 and 5. Complexity looking good so far here on map number 2. Again, it is the defender side of Haven, and the B site has been a site that hasn't been tested too often. And with the full buy from Equinox, it looks like they're going to dip their toes, test the water. But an early peek from Jonah P. I love this dynamic. I feel like a lot of people see Sharky and see him as an operator, but traditionally he's not the one that picks up the op too often. He loves to get down and dirty with the Phantom and the Vandal and try and see what he can get done. Cute Fat Boy vying for a lot of control, trying to ensure that AGM can't get this lockdown online with these cages. Might get spammed on down. Thankfully isn't going to get tagged, and they're not ready for it. But Jonah P, clean on the operator, able to pick up one in as a Hunter's Fury, but he is being swarmed down.
Oh, Jonah P starts things off with a big frag. Has to catch up that second angle and triple, but Pancakes with a good swing. I mean, that was Jonah P's. He fully anticipated that swing, but even then, 3v3, folks. A little bit of util for Equinox to use off of this post plant. Not only that, but 2 on the back lines. You do have the ulti out for Sharky. Knives, he could be able to just quick dash on in for what would be an easy frag. It's tough even, but oh, there you go. Cute Fat Boy, he was spamming already in the middle of that smoke, but wasn't able to catch anything beforehand. Finally gets one. Oh, High and XP3 trying to make their way on in. And Pancakes! That's a massive 1-2 combo. And Equinox, they have a round back with their first B take in a long time.
Yeah, you catch AGM and them completely off guard. Mina goes in first. They overwhelm AGM at that first contact, and then Jonah P, you said it, he recognized the threat. He knew where that peak was going to come, but he couldn't find the shot. But in the end, Complexity, you concede the round. AGM, well, he got what he wanted. He wanted a lockdown out of that one from the old tour. Well, he got it in the form of an unfortunate round loss, but they do still have a bye. Odin here for Jonah P. And he's going to try and contest first with some shock darts, but I think Equinox have recognized that Jonah P is going to hunt this tree. Let's try and not get revealed and get mowed down by it, but that is a lot of information.
Oh, man.
Sadly, no real tags come off of it, but he has so much info, and Sharky as well is relaying it back that nobody's here towards A. The only threat is mid, and we've seen Equinox's routing go back from the B site back to Catwalk and try and split into A. So that's where Sharky's repositioning now.
They're still going to maintain their positions relatively even. I do like the setup, though, or at least I like the patience of the util. The Killjoy is essentially ready to go at it, but still nothing spotted from Jonah P. Nothing spotted from AGM period as he's going for a couple of shoulder peeks. Equinox has been here for just about 40 seconds now. They have not let go, but in comes the actual take. AGM getting exposed. The util is out, but it doesn't matter. Ohai needs his frag. Gonna be able to get it back. So Mina goes down. Jonah P getting exposed. Ohai still has 2. DXN with a trade back. I don't know what type of awkward interaction that was in the back lines, but this has opened up the site now for Equinox. One player all the way down in terms of HP. XP3 still takes one back right through the wall. 2v2. It's been all too chaotic. I'm sure we'll be actually able to relax a little bit and see it from the replay point of view, but this is a big crossfire. Pancake's gonna be able to get one and make it a second again. 3 kills on the round. And Pancakes, this B site seems all his essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it and you look back in the round Complexity, it's hard to gamble on this B site, right? With Equinox sitting there for 40 seconds, yes, Sharky has information towards A main, but he's not willing to push off of it. He doesn't want to give his life up and give A entirely, and constant pressure from Pancakes in the form of smokes down towards Catwalk, down towards Lynx in the bottom of mid. I mean, Complexity had no idea this hit was coming. Well, it did feel like, at least from our perspective, and you said it as well, Equinox were here for essentially the entire round. Complexity have had no idea, so props to Equinox in that one. 5-5, things will be tied up now. They're going back for more of a default. Again, pressure towards mid in the form of smokes. Not a lot of info. And you see how Complex are now adjusting. AGM has decided to instead invest his utility on this A site. Lockdown Garden, lockdown Catwalks. They have info. But it is going to be a ruse here. Smoke down towards Market to try and draw some rotations. And XP3 will expend a smoke, but he is again wary of mid. Equinox. It's a good fake. Tex will be gunned down here by Shark as he traces the tracers on back to him. 4 versus 5 in Complexity. They do have the man advantage. They as well have a lockdown for AGM if they need to utilize it.
That was a weird position for Sharky too. Essentially out in the open. That could have been a little bit of an off angle too if they had actually swung from smoke, but again, a little bit too dangerous. But the A side is still the target. Mina making space and Complexity, they've actually completely abandoned the site. There's a whole lot of util over towards Cat if Equinox actually want control of this. And indeed, they just might walk into the traps. XP3 in the front lines. Essentially, there is contact. And not only that, but a Paranoia is going to be able to catch him off. There goes the kill. Hunter's Fury for DXN all the way back in main. Going to be able to get a collateral off of it, too. Whole lot of damage. Cute Fat Boy through the cage. Able to get a second. Jonah P through the wall. Onto Pancakes. DXN still holding down off the Hunter's Fury. And now with the op, he's in a 1v2. Waiting for the spike to get defused. But instead, he wants to force out the interaction. But Sharky is there for the frag. It is going to be 6-5 to Complexity as Equinox. They tried to hold down the site. They made their way in a relatively easy fashion, split attention throughout the entire map, but instead now Complexity, they go back to their Haven form. They allow their opponents to just take the site, and the retake, almost immaculate.
Right, yeah, and you mentioned the utility back towards the side of Catwalk. That's what they were playing off of. AGM drops the lockdown. They were waiting for anyone to swing towards Cat. They get no contacts towards there, and as soon as the alarm bot goes off, nanoswarms are popped and Complexity have the sights. Jonah P again, though, in this one. Huge stakes. Can we see another tie scoreline? Jonah P forces up the angle. We saw this combo the last round, and they do it here again. He's going on over, and Mina flying out of the sky. It's DXN. Apologies, Jonah P to find himself in a grave. Tex with a good trade back. What a hectic round as Mina goes flying on over. But Equinox, they have a 4v2, and the spike has now gone down.
You could do nothing but laugh. That was such a weird scenario. And not only that, but XP3's got to be feeling real awkward there too, especially with his teammates going down. He's like, I can't even see him. XP3 tries to go for the trade and well, walks into the crossfire of like 3 people anyways. In this round though, Equinox, the site is fully in their control, but with 3 players all the way in the back lines, they really have to hold things down in terms of just watching over the 2 choke points. They have the crossfires, they have the setup, they have Sharky down to 31 HP. This one is essentially done and dusted as he actually gets pinged. But instead, Tex with a 4th kill, and that's going to be 6 rounds back for Equinox. We are going into the second half once again with a tie. And before I let you kind of analyze things, Sully, we had a poll going down in Twitch chat, and the prompt was, do we go to OT? 74% of people said no. So with yet another tie, there's potential that we could go to OT or just try to keep things close again like we had on Haven. And these 2 teams still very much equally matched.
Right, I would like to think now that with Equinox on the defensive side, things, or at least the pressure, should start to alleviate off them, if only just a little bit. Who knows, though? The Cypher, at least from Cute Fatboy, has definitely been very quiet on the defense, where I kind of prompted him to be a little bit more aggressive, fight for map control, get info. Well, he's doing that here, at least. He's looking for info. Jonah P, raid boss style, has been dropped over a Sheriff, and well, they don't even need to use it. Sharky, good for the first frag. Tex will try and readjust, but he's sticking around on the site. This is a huge gamble, but I think with that recon bolt, yep, he's going to have to back away. Paranoia as well to force him on back. Looking for a couple of tags. Might be good to get a frag here as Pancakes goes swinging. He goes wild. Trades go back and forth. Complexity have an advantage here in a 4 versus 3 with now the spike making its way on in. Planet front gen. As Tex trades it back, we've got an even 3v3.
Oh, Tex. So one in the corner, he has at least that piece of information, but a double swing heaven. That's a little bit early, but it's more than effective. Taking down XP3 and Ohio. Now it's just down to Sharky in a 1v3. Going to be able to catch a couple of people dropping. Only 1, but still down to 11 HP. Couple of shots through the wall, and really just a gust of wind would take him down at the very end of things. Equinox, they open things up with 7-6, and I mean, good early pressure for Complexity, but Equinox, they went the Complexity route in this sense, and they wanted to hold off a little bit before they actually ended up retaking.
Yeah, very patient as well. I mean, you see Tex anticipating a swing through Garden, especially as soon as the blast doors go down. Complexity just weren't prepared for it. I would say ill prepared, right? They had low HP, they weren't in the best positions because of the pressure Tex applies onto them. Now here's a save round, at least for Complexity. One that I feel like we haven't seen too often, and as I say that, Jonah P has opted for at least a Marshall. I say it's alright, right? Because he didn't buy a pistol, only spent 400 credits in the last round as he did have the Sheriff. Now Equinox, it's a weird buy, right? A Judge, 3 Spectres, and an Ares here for DXN. No info early on, as he does save the Recon Bolt as well as the Owl Drone. But 4 players here. Sharky's looking at least for info to at least allow his team to play off of. Well, they have full B main control. It's Equinox here. They're more or less giving it to them, it feels like.
At least over towards A, they're absolutely allowing them to just make their way through. And especially over towards B, they only have 1 person very loosely in a sense. He is going for a jump spot. So very loose holds from Equinox early on, but the one place where it's not very loosely held, instead it's actually a war ground. It's none other than Cat. Mina is ready. Judge, jury, potentially executioner. In comes the take. First contact. Still has to keep going. Oh my goodness! Mina! 4 kills, 1 clip. Why not? 1 more person remaining. All the way back in A main. It doesn't matter. I do not know what I just witnessed, but Mina with the best shotgun in the game and potentially one of the best guns in the game at this point, pulled off a huge 4K. But now Jonah P, last person remaining, 1v5, takes down 2. I need a moment.
I've got no words. You said judge, jury, and executioner. Well, I'll take the judge role and bring back order. Equinox, what a play. So well set up. Mina just waiting beautifully. Look at this. One shot, 3 kills. One shot from a judge warranted 3 kills. That is something else. We've seen some crazy plays with judges, but I don't think that could ever be replicated.
No.
And Mina going down has the Blade Storm online, so no need for an investment, and well, they use it out towards A main. Easy peasy control here at Complexity. I would be stunned. It feels like we're watching Sharky all over again, but this time Mina has made a name for himself here.
Mina. I mean, that's almost literally everyone's, I think every pugger's or every matchmaker's nightmare, right? You just run into a judge and it's just
or their
over.
dream.
It's just with a dream. It's almost over, folks. But, well, at least for this round, Complexity, they actually do want to target over towards that B side area, and not too much util actually from the Equinox Cypher in the back of B. So if anything, it might just be an easy take, and actually Q Fatboy can't really execute on it, and the Hunter's Fury hits whole 3 targets. DXN goes down to low HP, and not only that, but the Nano Swarm takes him down to 14. That's beautifully taken by Complexity.
Yeah, 2 Nanostorms invested to prevent anyone from looking for a cheeky swing, and Pancakes has made so much noise. They know what's coming. They even had a crossfire for it. No chance he's going to win that fight. Complexity hold up all 5 players, and they're looking to maintain that as Sharky might find himself a couple of frags here. It is going to be Mina swinging on through, and Sharky with the adjustment. XB3 had the first, but Sharky the second was definitely all his. Tex, call me crazy, but I think they know where he is, and he is he's in a tricky position because AGM is behind him and he didn't even know. 7 to 8 Complexity. They bring things back, and I mean, great execution from them. Great Nanostorms to keep them back, and it's basically their round, but it was a bonus for Equinox regardless.
Yeah, that was their idea from the first place, right? They had the Hunter's Fury ready. They knew that they wanted to launch it out a little bit early to at least get some space over towards that B site. And of course, AGM, his one goal in that round was just to try to clear out space in the choke points or in the rotation spots with the Nano Swarms, and he did exactly that. Just well done by Complexity. They needed those initial frags to actually do so, and that one could have honestly gone either way, especially with how great Equinox has actually been off of the entry interactions. But just like that, folks, 7 to 8, and Equinox, they're back to a full buy, but I feel like the judge is going to be attached to Mina's name for a while now. Mina's back on it.
Sitting around the corner. He will be hoping that they come again, but they're not going to challenge it as they take the 2 players in B main out. No chance here for Equinox to hold on to the B site. This 4-player swing, or 3 players, apologies, and 2 end up going down. Sharky, he has the Blade Storm out. He's looking for a couple of lurks. Mina has crept on through.
Yeah.
This is an awkward position. It might be able to catch Yohei off guard, but it is long range with the judge, so that could be, difficult.
Long-ish. Ohai is still checking the corner, and I mean, honestly, this is beautiful for Equinox. Actually, Mina could get not only a frag here, but also a couple of exits. And oh, come on, Mina flying through the air with absolute grace, picking up one with the judge. Oh my! I was about to say, I mean, if Mina didn't spot anyone from that spot, he would have actually gone huge with exits. Especially with Complexity only really spotting players over towards B main and really over in mid in general. So this round could have actually been way worse if Mina hadn't actually gone for that first contact. But in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't exactly matter. Complexity, they have the round in their pocket. It's 8 to 8. And as the momentum keeps flowing, their economy does too. They're sitting pretty at the moment, but they can't get complacent. As Equinox, they might be restricted down to a couple of pistols once again.
Yeah, definitely a rough position if you are now Equinox. You've amassed a decent lead, right? 3 rounds in a row, 1 from the previous half, 2 rounds to set up your economy. Then you drop the ball in what was the full rifle round in round number 4. Now, number 5, it's a little bit of a strange buy, like you said. They've got some pistols, they have a Bucky again.
Kejar-kejaran terus
Early
guys.
control, but spotted out by the recon bolt. Will be tagged twice, but that doesn't matter because look at the contest back towards A main. Cute Fat Boy has got a lot of work to do. Apologies, Pancakes as the dash goes in. He actually creeps through, and I thought for a second maybe they didn't have an idea, but Tex goes swinging, dismiss on out of there, trades it back to a 4-on-4, and is looking for a little bit more. But Sharky realizes when his debt is due and he needs to leave. Jonah P guns down Mina. Phantom picked back up. It is winnable here, but it is going to be so difficult if you are now Equinox. As you are down a man, the position's assumed. There's even a flank coming in from AGM now.
Yeah, AGM, he's going to be able to execute on that flank. Well timed, well done. That takes away one less point of contact. Now the last person remaining is Cute Fat Boy down in hell. That's going to be the kill. 9-8 score line. Complexity against Equinox, and what was, again, very scrappy buy, but it just so happened to be because they had the hero rifles coming into the last round. And, well, down to the stats and down to the players on this server, I would like to at least say that everyone is stepping up in their own way, especially with Sharky with his early explosion, Tex really the entire game, really being the linchpin of all of the takes. 18 kills for him thus far, same thing with Sharky. You still have the supporting characters like XP3 and Mina, and even with, and I find this very rare, even with the players that are low on kills, I find them referencing them, or I find myself referencing them a whole lot more often. Everyone is interactive in this map. Yeah. Everyone has some sort of say. And Equinox, they absolutely need everyone on deck. All hands on deck, especially for this B-side retake. As the lockdown goes down, Cute Fat Boy does have that first contact, just waiting out for a couple of players to go out. Not only that, but the smoke and the nade is going to be able to clear them out. So sight is theirs. The spike hasn't gone down yet. And Equinox, they're all here for the retake.
Oh, AGM with a big alarm bot. That nano swarm could come in handy. Decides to hold back. Huge frag for Pancakes. That alarm bot gives them a lot of info. It still sits, and Tex is perched upon it. Oh, hi. Alongside Sharky. Waiting just beneath. That is a huge paranoia. Sharky full blinded. Dink onto Tex. Can he collect the frag? Ducking and dancing behind the logs. He will be finally taken out of the mix. And Tex looking for something. It's Ohai in the front lines. But just like that, 2 kills for XP3. A third added by AGM. It's a 1v1 in DXN as HP doesn't favor him. But the Nano Swarm, it at least gives him some kind of room to work with. Here's the swing and there's the kill. XP3 gives Complexity double digits, and Equinox, they put everything into that round. And now economically, they are still fine for now, but they have been taking heavy hits round after round.
Like you said, Sully, everything into that round, especially with the fact that the Empress on the front lines fighting every single interaction. They had it all in their favor, but you have to give shout outs to XP3 and AGM. Behind cover, they were still able to really be supporting players for those on the front lines. Ohai was just trying to get that first contact up, for the players just trying to rotate their way literally onto that spike, just wasn't allowing them to do so. Somehow AGM and XP3 still had enough information to really get those trades back, and Equinox, they ended up getting whittled down to only a singular player at the very end of things with low damage. So Complexity, slow play, but we talk about slow, but this one is anywhere near from slow. Still making his way on his Ohai, misses out completely on the Hunter, on the Showstopper. Now the Hunter's theory goes out. DXN takes down one, and Complexity on their fastest take yet, it falls at the seams, and Equinox, they have a way back.
Yeah, now Complexity, they realize they need a bailout card. They had no exit back towards mid, no info. For all they know, there could just be a man lurking on around here. And AGM, he recognizes that threat. Cute Fat Boy rings some shots out. He's got the information. The cam has now been spotted. Gonna try and make the swing on over. Spike can go down confidently in AGM. He's trying to press the issue. He needs to take these fights. When you're down in a situation like this, you need to look for frags, but he's not gonna get any of it. Denied at the first step. XP3 in the smoke. That's all that gives him cover, but Cute Fat Boy reads him like a book. And Equinox on an eco. Spin it back around and have themselves a round.
That was an eco. I mean, you see the word on your screen, folks. It's as thrifty as you can get. It was just pistols.
Just pistols.
Just pistols. And I mean, on that A site, they had the right gamble. They had 3 players over towards that site, if I'm not mistaken, 1 on a fast rotation. And even then, everyone from Complexity just ended up walking into that crossfire, ended up walking into the crosshairs. And I mean, really, in the end, the over-util and the fact that Complexity, they actually wanted to fight their own util, that's what ended up affecting them. They wanted to go fast-paced. They wanted to go at 1,000 BPM per second, but didn't exactly work out in their favor. Equinox was more than ready for it, and not only that, but they were able to manage the chaos very quickly. Still in this round, though, Equinox, they have a couple of early peaks, and it's actually Tex to open things up onto Ojai.
Complexity not committed to either site. The Spike's still sitting in the back, right next to AGM's Killjoy turret. P trying to investigate with Tex. He is just around the corner, spotting for a cam. Sees nothing. Tex is ready and waiting. As soon as he gets in his face, he now knows though, Jonah P, the two players can swing, and off of paranoia, they got the info. He forces them away. And now they need to adjust. The B site has been prepared, the Spike waiting, and it is just one. In the back of sight, now a second with a TP, at least from Pancakes, and DXN will be the first man of contact. If he can find a frag, this could set Nox up or Equinox up for the round to win, but Sharky's still dancing. It's getting close here, and 30 seconds left. Equinox, they are prepared, and Tex is taking their lives.
And again, just a slick round from Tex. 3 kills already for the man. And he does get pinged, but I don't think he cares. He's still going to be able to go for it. AGM needs to get the spike down, but he has 0 clue that there's 2 players in this back line. Great trade. AGM would have legitimately had a chance if only one person was there, but quick trade. And Equinox, they cover their bases. And they win out once again as now Complexity. They find themselves up against the ropes in terms of economy for the first time in a very long time. This entire half has really just been theirs in terms of economic setup. They've had the rifles almost every single round. And now Equinox, they have a chance to not only snag themselves an 11th, but really an eco against them for the 12th. The op is back, Sully. Mina has it.
Mina looking for early peaks towards B. Might just get it. The turret doesn't trigger. They don't even know that Mina's here, thankfully. But the big paranoia comes out. XP3 able to flush Mina away from that position, and a lockdown now charged up for AGM. They were battling for that control. They got the second orb now here on A. And Equinox, I mean, talk about ult orb priorities. Complexity have got both, and now they can go wherever they want. AGM is maybe looking to sell a fake. There's nothing Equinox can do to cancel that lockdown. AGM is just waiting. So much utility to flush Tex out of that position to allow them to swing. And Mina, or apologies, Sharky already under heaven. Looking for early control as Tex goes swinging. There's one big kill. Doors have been closed, but can the spike go down safely?
No idea just yet, because if anything, Complexity, they're still waiting for players for Equinox to really show themselves. Not only that, but all their util, it's already dissipated. 2 cat, 2 heaven. Really as easy as you can get for Equinox. They just have to watch out for the players really just biding their time, because with only 30 seconds left on the clock, Complexity, they're getting desperate, and there you go. That's as desperate as you can get. Jonah P, he wants that first contact in heaven, and he goes down for that entire thing. So Equinox now 11-10. Complexity, like I mentioned before, their economy not in the best position by any means. They're still contemplating a buy, and who knows what they're going to go for. It looks like a half buy on most of their players. Yeah, Complexity here are playing for the OT. They're already up a map, so they can try and risk this. But it is a deep investment to the pockets of both Jonah P and AGM. They're the ones that were very lackluster in terms of economy. Sharky, at least with the Blade Storm, this is all or nothing. It feels like maybe they were playing for OT, but given the circumstances, maybe not. They want to try and close this out and bring it 11-11. Blade Storm out. Keep in mind the ults. They were banking on this one. Lockdown, Hunter's Fury, and there goes the first. Jonah P to try and clear it out. Tex is forced to back away, but look at his positioning. He actually doesn't care. A tiny gap in that smoke. Let's give him some info. There's that Hunter's Fury. They're trying to flush out one player in the back, and Jonah P can only connect upon one. They've got no info, and they have been stopped. The lockdown is now gone, and here comes Equinox. In comes Equinox, but one player ended up getting detained, but still DX down on the front lines, waiting up for AGM. Gonna be able to get one. Now Tex, he's still alive, and he has Mina right next to him. Still XP3 remaining on site. 2 players for Complexity. They've left over towards B main. They could be able to execute on this site, but Mina has been an absolute hero, but has to continue to be that exact role. Couple of players still laying around the mid side, literally just waiting for Mina to go out. They have all their bases covered, but Mina checks the angle, but doesn't get the damage necessary for the kill. Complexity, right as they're about to go completely under, they tie things up 11-11. Remember what I said earlier in terms of overtime? I think chat might be a little bit wrong about that one. 74% of people said no. We are getting there, folks. We are almost there. Equinox, they're still going to be able to more or less have a bye for these next 2 rounds, but more importantly, Mina has that operator in his hands. That economy just whittles down all the way down to 500, so that's going to leave him at about 2,000 going into the next round if they end up losing. They really need to depend on this. In Equinox, it might almost look as their last opportunity.
Yeah, it does feel like it. Equinox, bare bones of economy. XP3 is allowed to cross out mid. They are vying for this control. Only 1 trip and 1 player spotting in the back. That'll be DXN. Mina to try and adjust here with this pressure. DXN is forced to back away to not risk his life. He's even taking a little bit of damage. And now Sharky up close.
Midnya di
Fire
pantai.
there. Doesn't want to swing.
Midnya.
He's anticipating this peak. Mina just holding this angle. Are they ready for it? Mina, 1 shot, 1 kill. Now backs away. Clean stuff from him. And Equinox, firm hold here, but the B site is now starting to get swarmed up.
Oh, indeed it is. Cute Fat Boy takes down AGM, but still XP3. XP3 has been huge over towards this B site multiple times, but even then, it's really the Mina show now. Almost had a huge flick, but now has the shorty out. XP3 has to hold things down all by his lonesome. And like I said, the shorty comes out to play, but XP3 still with a triple. It's not much for him. He has nothing to work with. But 30 seconds left, 20 HP. All of his util is gone. He's going to be able to get a smoke back in just a little bit, but his aim has to be absolutely immaculate. He needs headshots galore, but it's not going to come down to it. Pancakes takes down XP3, and now Equinox, they have map point. They're looking for a map 3.
Oh, it's so close for Complexity. It feels like they stumble over in the most crucial of situations. Equinox, like you said, they have a chance for map number 3. Huge place for Meat on the operator. Great fallback. I mean, plays this beautifully, dancing around, doesn't give himself up. And XP3, everything he could in this round. It wasn't going to be enough. Needed to land that shot, like you said. His aim needed to be spectacular, but it just fell short. 1 more round. Full buy for both sides. This Complexity with definitely the weaker buy. DXN looking for an early peak. It's again the recon bolt. The Owl Drone, all the util in the world. Prayed for an early spray if someone were to contest this ult orb, and AGM is thinking about it, but DXN might have his number. Equinox spread themselves across the map. Same thing with Complexity. This round means everything. We could either see 3 maps or overtime here. DXN knows where 1 is. Can he get the spray? This could be a kill. Lots of damage done, but it won't net himself anything.
Quite a bit of damage, no kill. Go AGM.
Shockdotnya.
So close to him, just a matter of pixels. Mina, you gotta be kidding me that he actually wants to take out the recon bolt with the up, and it's more than effective. Oh, there you go. With the combination of the flash too, Ohai is able to get the kill with a showstopper, but even then, Equinox, they're getting completely shut down from the B sites. Complexity with a man advantage as Equinox, they're slowly setting up for the retake. Ohai, what a cheeky position. This is 1 and done at its finest, but he's still going to be able to snag one. Still meeting around the corner, waiting for the refrag, but that place is so tight, but even then, Mina pulls out the shorty, gets the kill. Tech still forcing out the situation with another one. 3v3 with all 3 players back over to word side. No, just kidding. Jonah P is still in B main, waiting for a couple of players to make their way over. Texas open things up. That's 2 kills for him. Mina's ready for it. Jonah P goes down. Now XP3 in the air. Can't catch Mina. Mina with a 3K. Opens up the entire game for Equinox, and we've got ourselves a map number 3.
We said that if Complexity were going to win, Gus, it had to be in 2-0 fashion. Well, they've just been stumped here on Ascent. Mina, to close it out, has had a phenomenal game on Ascent so far. I mean, he looked absolutely unreal. Him and Sharky butting heads on the Jets. What a game from both sides, as close as we can get it in both of these maps. The first 2 were some stellar performances from both sides.
I mean, I can't believe it. Really, both of these teams going so close in a sense. And Complexity, they've always been a team that we've had high hopes at the beginning of tournaments, and they always seem to somehow just fall just a bit short. Against teams like Equinox, however, they've been really stepping up to the plate. But now, Equinox, in that last map, really setting themselves in a great position mentally, because no matter what type of positions that Complexity want to place themselves, especially with that last round with a man advantage and full B-side control, they know that they always have a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are watching Valorant Challengers #1. Thank you guys so much for watching out this game. But before we go, Sully, I just want to say one thing. With this being an open qualifier, anything can happen. Sentinels, not exactly breaking news just yet, Sentinels was 1 round away from getting eliminated by Serenity. Their second map ended up going 13-11, and Sentinels lost map 1. So that one going to a map 3. There's a couple of other side streams that you guys can check out and chat by doing !streams. Otherwise, folks, we'll have more updates when we come back. But for now, we'll be right back with map number 3 between Equinox and Complexity.
Oke, sarapan dulu ya guys.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dogpile.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
Need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
What sound experience would you like to know?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Welcome on back to Valorant Challengers, presented to you by Nerd Street Gamers. My name is Upmine, joined here by Sully, and Map 3 is about to kick off in just a little bit between Equinox and Complexity. But Sully, we have quite a bit to talk about in terms of map number 2, but one player to really open things up in that map was none other than Mina.
Yeah, Mina and Sharky, they were butting heads the entire map long. Ascent, I mean, this is the highlight from Sharky. I mean, the dude was popping off of the Sheriff. He had some absolutely insane plays. Then Mina's 4K Judge. If we don't have a replay for that, then riot all we want. But geez, I mean, it was a battle between the both of them. It felt like it went back and forth in the first half. Then the second half, Equinox, they started to peel away just a little bit. I mean, this entire second map was just a highlight reel for the both of them. And Ascent was a very close game. We said from the get-go that Complexity, the only realistic way I saw them from the beginning of the series was they need to 2-0 this. But now I'm a believer, right? You said that this is the first open qualifier. Anything can happen. We don't know if Complexity have put in extraneous amounts of time here on Split. In the past, they've only played this map 10 times in their career history. And in recent times, they've only played 2 maps in the past 2 months. So statistically, it doesn't look good for Complexity. But I said that from the get-go, and well, they have surprised us here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mina really opening things up at the very end of things in terms of highlight plays, but it was really consistent throughout the entire map. That's really been the story between both of these two teams for really the last 2 maps, but there's always 1 or 2 players to really point at. It was Mina still for map number 1 and still map number 2. For Complexity, it's flip-flop between really Sharky and Jonah P, but those are just, you know, the things that we can really strike out and say. Instead, now, Complexity, they had a lot more interactability with their util in a sense. Of course, we saw the Omen and the Killjoy really come out huge. AGM, a person that didn't have too many opportunities for frags, he was really the person making up as much space as possible for Complexity on that attacking side in the second half, and that really ended up giving them the bulk of their rounds. However, Equinox still finding out a couple of spots for them to really break through the Complexity attack in a sense, or really just shut them down early. That's really what made things happen. But here on Split, folks, things get a little bit more muddy in a sense.
Yeah, already off the bat, you see Equinox on the left side selecting the Sage. This is where things can change now. Complexity on the flip side, they've been running a Sky for as long as time can remember. The 10 maps they've played, most of them have always had a Sky, at least with the patch width added with the addition of Sky. So Equinox, things can get muddy like you said, but this game is going to be intense regardless. I'm a believer. You never know what can happen here. Map number 3 is getting underway, and Equinox, to be completely honest, the first map was a surprise. The second map was a barn burner. Now here on Split, anything can go as we have got a game on our hands.
Anything can happen. Anyone can start fragging, but according to Twitch chat, we had a poll going up. Who is going to have more kills by the half? Jonah P or Tex? I mentioned Mina before, but Tex has really been the consistent fragger. And people said that Jonah P is going to come out successful by the half between the two. So I don't know about that one. Jonah P just had a really good performance in a sense, still consistent, but Tex is really the one that I'm going to be looking out forward to on Split. I feel like this one would be, I guess, in a solo sense, one that he'll be a little bit more comfortable on rather than Jonah P, especially with Jonah playing up on the Sky.
Here we go now. Complexity on the attack. Early blast pack to at least throw off anybody taking an early peek. Obviously, the changes have definitely made this a much more viable option for the attack, so keep Fat Boy playing around that second step stool. What can he find? Trailblazer goes out. They've got the info. They're going to try and flush him out with nades, and yep, cute Fat Boy's got to run. No smokes dropped just yet. Instead, a slow warp to try and delay. They hold themselves up in the mailroom of the wall. And Complexity off of this contact will take things slow, and they're going to spread themselves out and see what they can get, as they do still have a turret that'll give them info if anyone's gone aggressive back towards A.
Again, the Sage pickup for Equinox. I mean, it's as stereotypical as you can get right over towards mid, but Mina, 2 rounds in a row! I mean, 2 games in a row, picks up the shorty and goes absolutely huge, but then still has the shotgun in a sense, but in the form of a classic. 3K for Mina, AGM, the last one remaining, and oh boy, Complexity. They just get shambled in mid.
Yeah, well, there's a start for Mina. I've never seen one better. straight off the bat, a 3K. Lovely presence with that shorty. Switching back to the classic. Complexity are going to be stunned by this kind of play. I mean, the first, so lucky it's a one-shot. Then to get Sharky on 1 HP with the second off the shorty. Everything played right there for Equinox, and they get it done. First round is on their side, but we know Complexity, they love to full buy, and they're going for a full push in the A site with 5 stingers in their hands.
5 stingers and a hope, right? Complexity. Full control of the ramp side. There's one person that was in heaven, but now trying to play a little bit more site-centric. A Boombot. He's going to clear up a little bit of space, especially in terms of the elevator lineup. Or at least the transition into heaven, but, well, really nothing. They don't take too much heaven control until really the last moment, and there you go, oh hi. That's why he wanted to take his time in heaven. He pops out through the smoke. In the matter of 2 seconds, he's able to get himself the frags needed for Complexity to make their way on site. But DXN, I mean, shotguns ahoy on this map. Gets a kill off the Bucky, upgrades, well, upgrades more than likely to a stinger, but now Ohai still continuing that frag streak. Gets himself a third. Now is QFat Boy in a 1v2 gonna be able to spot out one. Really, both players are over towards elbow, but he still has no clue in a sense. Another sky flash, but it's not gonna hit out CFB. Instead, now he just has to play in this wide angle, and he's able to get the first 46 HP, and not able to get the headshot onto Jonah P. Jonah gets it in the end of things, but Ohai, he was the instigator. Here was the one that made the space.
Complexity have won 3 of 3 attacking side second round full buy conversions. Wow, Complexity, they've got something about them when it comes to full buys. I don't know what it is, but they always end up turning up. Equinox, this is their save. Mina, obviously with that 3K in the beginning, round loss of 4th. Charge
Aku
up
masih
the ultimate.
kaget sih guys, pas ronde pertama Mina itu pakai shorty guys, dapat berapa kill, dapat 3 kill guys, shorty langsung pindah ke klasik.
They should try and at least convert this into a second round bonus after this one. As Jonah P leaking out towards mid, the extend wall broken instantly. Now Complexity with heavy pressure down towards mid. They understand that this is such a crucial part of their game, and Equinox in the past have put a heavy emphasis with that solo play, that solo Sage Wall. It comes in handy, huge, an XP3 and a solo play. It would pick up Pancakes. There's a huge frag, and now they basically have a control here with only one player watching. It'll be Tex, but they're wrapping all the way through elevator.
Wrapping an elevator. Tex had the first lineup, but not able to get anything. Mina actually with a big kill onto Ohai, but even then, TXN. 2 rounds in a row with a Bucky. Not able to do much. Still 2 frags back, but Complexity able to really take that one up with ease. I mean, it was expected already, but Equinox can put up a whole lot more of a fight going into this next one. Especially with the rifles, but looking at their setup here, Silly, it's a little bit looser over towards the B site.
They're gonna try and have Mina go for early info. You can jump on top of, I think, that second box.
No, yeah, no, the Cypher is going back to B, so gonna have to go back on that. They are gonna have some util.
Yeah, so they have a little bit of util in elevator to at least accommodate the fact that Tex isn't gonna full focus, and they might not have invested as Sage Roll just because of that trip. They just want info if anyone's going into elevator. So yeah, they sit in the back. Cute Fat Boy with a nice angle spots the first. Mina's got the info. Same with Cute Fat Boy. They're playing a nice little crossfire. But one flash is ultimate, taking those Seekers go big. Oh, double kill though from 2. And Mina dashing on away and updrafting up, able to create a lot of space. It's just one. Great hold from them both. Mina going big once more. XP3 in a very difficult position now in the 1v5.
So unfortunate from Ohai, and I said before that Equinox, they would try to lock down a little bit more on site, and indeed they did. Way better at the very end of things, and even Cute Fat Boy at the end of things, barely able to get that ult orb. So now, the neural threat's going to be able to get pulled out to really any round now, but going back to Complexity really feels bad for Ohai. Purely because, again, he had the showstopper. He might have actually been able to open up a little bit more space over towards the back of sight, but because of the pathing and just purely because of how crazy Mina actually was in terms of movements, just couldn't get anything done. No return frags for Complexity. That's really something that they have to just depend on for the rest of this attacking side. And, well, now Equinox. I said before that their B site hold was a little bit looser. They've actually switched up the Cypher, the controller in a sense, going all the way back over towards A just to launch out a whole lot of util. But that's actually a great combo on the wall mid.
Yeah, break it down instantly. DXN will try and quell any pushes. Like you said, the Cypher, in a sense, the controller of the A site, will try and lock it down alongside Tex. But this is the mid presence, the complexity I put an emphasis on. And DXN Sage utility is never going to be enough. Now complexity, they got info, but they're playing a double trip up in heaven. They realize the presence that this complexity I've been putting, so they are going to try and adjust at least. Keep Fat Boy and Tex holding it down, but here comes the wrap. They see the trip, at least they're wary of it, clear things out. They've got info here, and now they need to be scared. Equinox with their backs turned, backs against the wall, no rotations in sight. These A players get a little paranoid, but complexity aren't committing. They're playing the waiting game at the moment.
Certainly biding time. Waiting to see if they can really catch anyone off. This is, again, very evident of just a split in general, where you just have one person over towards heaven, and he doesn't exactly want to get off of his position. Stairs is going to stay fully in his control, but AGM, that's massive, actually re-peaking that position of Mina. But DXN, he's the one with the full control of sight. XP3 with a good frag back, and not only that, but DXN, almost perfect timing from complexity, putting DXN off of his own, where he had to look out for really 3 angles at the same time. And that's a space for the spike to go down. So now 2 players remaining now for Equinox. The neural network could really go up if they actually do have a body over towards heaven, but really nothing of the sorts. Complexity, they can just hold this down with their their pretty clean post plant spots. They're going for a hard crossfire over towards main, and it actually doesn't work. XP3 goes for the drop. Still one more person remaining over towards heaven. How on earth does that break down? Cute Fat Boy wins his first battle. Same thing with a player on site. I mean, complexity. You gotta be kidding me with that loss.
It happens so quick. Equinox, they take the peaks, complexity look for the fights, and it just crumbles instantaneously. 2 players are dropped, an XP3 and a 1v2. That is so quick. They combine and they somehow make it work. Complexity are going to be broken after that one. Mentally and probably, obviously, economically, they don't have much to buy here. They don't have enough credits to force up a full buy. And Equinox, here's a chance to extend their lead and double the score of complexity and make it 4. Equinox, huge retake. And now complexity back to the tried and true fast play towards this site. Sharky, double updraft, no just a single, looking for something, but Ohai's created space towards the ramp. But Tex, he is just beneath them. Room to try and delay. DXN will be kept back for now. Smokes down and everything to block Ohai. And great util usage here from Equinox to slow down the push and temper the complexity aggression.
And it's slow setup aggression, but in comes Tex. Oh, the hero rifle. He lives up to the name of it. Massive from Tex as he takes down 2. But now, oh, hi. Slipping on through in heaven. Nobody's watching out for this angle either. It's just going to be a one-on-one here on site. But it's such a crucial one. The last person is in such a tricky position over towards the back of sight. Not only that, but a smoke down. And the Jet, who was rotating, has slowly made his way into heaven. Ohai has grabbed the spike, has rotated back, and now they're going to anticipate a little bit of a rotation. And not only that, but Ohai can get a free frag. And with 35 seconds left, he has the full rotation. No teleport from the Omen. Ohai has played this out perfectly.
Yeah, and he's got a paint shell grenade as well. So much time to get the spike down, figure out where he wants to position himself. Drops it behind the tall box, the double stack, and Ohai, how does he play around this? He knows this is the A player. He is predicting this one perfectly. Ohai sitting behind the double. This slight change to split is what's giving him coverage. And they drop.
No way he checks this.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. No! But Ohai whiffs! Pancakes pulls off the 1v1. Ohai so close, but so far with the spray. Equinox, they barely scraped through off of what was a thrifty buy from complexity.
I mean, I'm losing my mind over that. I mean, Ohai, so well routed in a sense, makes his way back over towards heaven through ramp off of that take. And I mean, it all came down to what was Equinox in that early start, right? Tex with a beautiful 2K. Ohai with that, again, with a beautiful frag up in heaven. But you gotta be kidding me with that. Ohai just wasn't ready. Almost something mentally in a sense, and couldn't focus on the spray. So instead now, Equinox They find themselves a little bit of space, a little bit of a cushion. It's 4-2 in complexity. I mean, they might start to get desperate very soon, but they're still holding on to the rifles. They're still fairly confident. Still only 2 rounds separating the two, but oh my lord, Tex. That's so ballsy, and he's out of there. Almost unscathed. Yes, he takes on a little bit of damage, but that's the early frag that Equinox needed in complexity. They've been without opening entry frags in a whole while. So now they just wait up in P main. They're just waiting for any contacts. Tex, might he get more damage with the nade? This is starting to get nuts.
Lockdown available, AGM. That'll force players in the backside, but Tex is not one to fall away, or at least run away from a challenge. As I say that, he literally runs away. Okay, so they're gonna play retake here, a revive available, so they'll stick together. But they're not necessarily pushing off of it. XP3, paranoid to the back right of sight. Tex is lurking and waiting. 4-second smoke drop to the back of the cloudburst, and Mina sitting and waiting alongside 2 other players. Jonah P just underneath. His position is gonna be massive. Blinding light goes in, 1 goes out. No one yet to peek, as Jonah P still sits underneath. Sharky as well was playing that angle, but they've dropped away. In comes Mina, flying through the sky, but Jonah P, blinding light, and he's blindsided them with 3. Jonah P to give complexity a 3rd. Equinox were not ready for it, and his position did come indeed very handy for complexity on the retake.
And again, that's just huge for Jonah. Head on a swivel. Waiting out for the drop, and just, I mean, they did have people looking over towards that heaven area, but because of how heavily populated that spot actually was, and really with Mina opening up the space, Jonah already had a little bit of, I guess you could say, inadvertent eye over towards heaven. So he's able to really just focus down on that push, and if anything, ended up giving out Equinox a little bit less space to really work with off the drop. I mean, executing on heaven on this map, especially on a retake, can get so dicey, especially if you have people in those off-angle positions. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, Equinox, well, they have to readjust a little bit. A couple of pistols laying around too, with Tex on the Sheriff and looking out over towards mid. Spots one on the rifle barrel, but down to 48 HP. Could still boot on a little bit of damage, and even a kill if he wants to, or a kill if he finds it. Sharky gets him back. Complexity has 2 already, with 1 flanking into sewer. That could have been massive, but instead Complexity has a whole lot more space. There's one on the B side too. Kind of weird.
Just chilling. AGM looking for any late lurks, trying to cut off rotations, but not in the best position because he as well has to rotate a long way. Pancakes, like you said, drops the spike. Huge play at least there. DXN up top has a revive, but elected not to use it on his fallen comrade. Elevator. XP3 with a late lurk into heaven. Yup, it's just a mowdown. Mina, lucky to even get one in this position. Complexity cleaned it up nicely. 4-4, we're all tied up here, and they're on the attacking side of splits. However, I do like to add that at least in this level of Valorant, the favoredness towards the defensive side, it kind of evens out, and I feel like we see it a lot more in the higher levels. So nothing to worry about. Equinox, though, back on the full buy. Mina has picked up the operator, but where does he like to take it?
No idea. Yeah, looks like he's cheating over towards the mid area, but again, Complexity with a whole lot more options. Again, they had the teleport in the last round too, so I mean that was really one of the options that gave me a little bit more security about Complexity. Even if their A take ended up failing, they could easily teleport back over to B, where AGM ended up having all of that info. But this is a weird spot for the wall, especially with DXN just kind of vibing on top of it. He has full real estate of it, though. He could really just stay over and just wait for a couple of players from the Complexity side to walk into the crosshairs. But another op shot is going to be missed out by Mina. Big flash, too, that could open up a little bit of mid area. But I think more importantly, Sully, there's really only one person over towards the A site. There's a couple of people kind of hovering around the B site, or hovering around the heaven area in a sense. But Ohai now on the showstopper, can't find anyone, just has to launch one out really at random. And that's just an awkward position, but they're still going to be able to at least get one frag off of it. In comes Tex, still able to get 2. DXN stuck in the smoke. Such a big opportunity to at least equalize the round, but instead, Complexity, with a scrappy win in heaven, able to take things back, with Cute Fat Boy being the last person remaining.
No bodies available for the neural theft either. He's in a tricky position now. Cute fat boy.
Tiga orang.
One player to his left. One deep behind him, and he doesn't even realize that AGM again playing that lurk. Cute fat boy. The first frag is his, however. He's got the info. Knows where the third is going to be as well. Now, this is winnable. AGM up in the heaven. He knows where he is. Nanostorm out, but no. Cute fat boy can't get the frag. AGM with a nanostorm is all he needed. 5-4, but cute fat boy makes that one very, very dicey for Complexity.
Very possible, very dicey. I mean, God, cute fat boy, what a great opportunity for him. I mean, he's really been hovering around really both A and B site throughout this entire game, and he's been consistently fragging. 11 kills for him thus far. He's on top of the server alongside Mina, but Equinox, they can't really catch a break. That was really their last opportunity, and they put all of their chances onto cute fat boy. So instead, now Complexity on the attacking side of Splits, and again, like you mentioned, that whole defensive-sided, I guess you could say, nature, it has fallen out of fashion, especially in upper tier 1 play. But here for Complexity, there still are a couple of opportunities where things could fail out. They're on more of a default this round, Sully, something that we really haven't seen really at all this set.
No, not really. Oh, early Sage Wall as well, this time in a position that we haven't seen yet at all. Towards B main, covers the entire thing up, perfectly fits on in. EXN, only a Bucky in the back. Complexity, like you said, the default, playing patient. Free ult torp here as well. They can drop smokes. Allow at least some space for Jonah P. You see that smoke into heaven. That's going to draw players away from heaven for Equinox. And Jonah P, it's now down in just one crucial duel. Mina is lurking, but Sharky is aware of it. It can spot him out easily. They're waiting. Jonah P's got the frag. This should be where the execution comes into play. The wall has now been broken. TP in the back from XP3. He will be canceled. And Pancake's underneath. The Bucky needs to go big, but it's not going to be enough. Jonah P cut out in mid. Sharky controls heaven, needs another frag, but drops away. 3v2 as a spike goes down.
This has gone way closer than expected. Equinox started this off with pistols, but now it's all theirs. AGM! He was fully on the move, and he got the first one. And quick on the reaction, and a little dance, to say the least. Equinox, what an opportunity, and it gets squandered by AGM, who has been relatively low fragging this far, but this man is a legend in the Counter-Strike scene, legend on the East Coast scene. He came into Valorant and hasn't exactly had his time to pop off, but there's no time than ever than the VCT, the double kill for AGM to finish things off, and now Equinox, well, they may have the buy back, but Complexity, they're hyped.
Yeah, they already have a guaranteed 6-6 scoreline. Equinox, such a rough setup. Like you said, they've got the buyback. Wall goes up. They're playing so much more passive. They're really relying on Mina's operator here. But Complexity have been able to run them over with their utility. Blinding lights have been perfect from Jonah P to get info and to cause disruption. Complexity running circles around Equinox. 4 ults. EXN has been holding on to just the one of the revive for so long. Tex is able to put down Jonah P. He was on low HP, however, so not too big of a deal. Equinox, they are dispersing Complexity across the map and back to the A side. Just a little bit of a jiggle from cute fat boy. Looking for anything he can get. He has a cage at the ready. Smokes down, but they will cross. Tex is now aware to that position, and Ohai's looking to clear a Boomba and a combo from AGM from the left side as well. The A site, they've done this split before, and they're going into the heavens. They're looking to take the A site, and there's nothing Equinox can do unless they want to give themselves up to these frags.
Complexity's out and away, but oh boy, Tex looking for some huge damage. But cute fat boy like a clay pigeon, taking down Sharky and still going. Snagging down XP3, and now same thing with AGM. That's a weird decision to say the least. Pancakes was right in front of him, and he still ended up going for the drop, and now it's just Ohai in a 1v3, still just about 11 seconds left. The crossfire between Pancakes. And again, his teammate was more than enough. 5-6 scoreline, because here on map 3, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we might see the same half scoreline for all 3 maps. I mean, if that's not a testament to how close these 2 squads actually are, I don't know what is.
Yeah, both so close. I mean, this half in general has been really back and forth. Good control from Complexity in those 4 rounds they won in a row. And then Equinox in their 3 rounds, and even the beginning looked really good. So given the bye, we could definitely see a 6-6. And like you said, a perfect testament to how close this game has been. Ohai face planting into the sign in what could be a very crucial round moving forward. But regardless, lockdown goes in, forcing players back. But how do they adjust? Tex will drop a paint shell grenade, looking for the fight. Ohai, though, is clean enough to win it. Needs only one frag for the showstopper. He is clearing out all of heaven, but cute Fat Boy once more. Through a smoke, finds a frag and evens us out to a 4v4. The site is theirs, however, Complexity. Spike will go down in the default, actually in the back right. So now Complexity, how do they lock this down? There's a revive available, a neural theft, and if Mino wants to get crazy, which he is now, the Blade Storm.
Blade Storm from Mina and a revival from DXN onto Tex over in heaven. Nade might be able to do a bit of damage, but ends up leaving out a little bit of space. Ohai, his position was already exposed over towards this area. Not only that, but the boombot coming in. Tex able to get a kill onto XP3. Now it's set to take it onto site. AGM, the only person remaining over towards this area. Now Ohai, now in a 1v4. The spike is almost completely away from him, and that's Equinox. Perfectly and fundamentally done, as almost flawlessly, they win out the round to finish off the half. 6-6, Sully.
Four maps in a row, or 3 maps in a row, apologies. 3 half times at the same scoreline. Doesn't get better than that. Complexity. They're on the defense here now, though. This is maybe where things can change up. We'd love to see, perhaps, if they want to get aggressive, right? Those blinding lights, at least can probably go down easily towards mid. Get so much information. But I'm curious to see how they play this one. I haven't seen too much, again, of Complexity on Split. I mentioned it earlier. 2 maps played in the last, I think, 2 months, or it could just be 1 month, but Complexity. Split is far and few for them. Equinox, not a lot to go off of in that first half. Again, tied 6-6, as close as we can get it, folks. See how this one pans out. The pistol round. Is this what could at least give us an inkling as to what's going to happen? Early paranoid to give Mina control. But Sharky's good enough to dash away and caught out by AGM. Not prepared whatsoever. So Complexity aggressive towards A to find the first frag.
And again, unbelievably, there's actually 3 in heaven for Complexity. They're trying to hard fight this approach, but XP3 needs this frag to make it worth it. And no way! Pancakes on his lonesome, able to get 3. I mean, that has to be the most populated hold of heaven that we've seen all game, and Complexity is the one to lose it out. Unreal. Well done by Pancakes once again. Always seems to come up clutch in the tightest of scenarios, but well, AGM, last person remaining now in a 1v3, and it's Pancakes with a 4K. What an opening to the pistol round.
Exactly what you needed. Pancakes popping off. That looked so scrappy up in heaven. Could have gone either way. Huge paranoia from XP3, but I think it's Sharky wasn't able to capitalize. Yeah, here's the fight. It's Jonah P actually, and then I think Sharky in the back there as well. So you said it as well. XP3 needed that frag. Pancakes goes big. He goes huge in Complexity. Well, they're going to pay for it. 7-6. They pick up the pistol round. But we know Complexity. It's another force buy, and if the trend continues, they could be looking to make the round conversion in the second. Tally it up to 4 here. Good info.
Decent at least, not able to find anything over towards mid. It's really just Equinox going fairly slow. Complexity. I mean, it looks as if Equinox is just giving a little bit too much space early on, but I mean that's really the nature of defaults, right? You're just trying to find your opponents to really enforce the interaction, enforce the frags, and you end up capitalizing on back. So again, just good patience from Equinox, but they're not able to get any early kills or really any early information out of it, but instead now they finally do end up making their takeover. And Ohai, he was waiting for at least some players to make their way out of B main, but the dash in from Mina opens things up. Jonah P able to take down Mina though, and now DXN comes in huge. There's now 2 players remaining for Complexity, and they're both out in the way. Sharky tries his best long range with the stinger, but Complexity with the stingers that they ended up forcing up to buy, well, hasn't really come up big for them. AGM, he ended up buying up both a stinger and full armor, and again, the task is just too high. It's going to be 8-6 going over towards Equinox, and a quiet round for them, but they end up striking at the perfect time, Sully.
All right, yeah, keeping 4 players alive as well, catching players completely off guard. A great exec. Wall goes up. Mina creates space. They capitalize on the player, isolated on top of the boxes. Good as it can get. The bread and butter. Right? They actually don't walk away with 4 players. AGM makes that a very costly round and nearly even finds 4. That would have been huge. So this is no longer the bonus that we expected for Equinox exiting that round. They've got to make 3 big investments. And complexity, this round more so than ever, is all about economic damage. Pull as many guns away as you can out of Equinox. You could seriously hurt their economy, but at least for now, Equinox will be fine. Tech's the only one that's down in the dumps alongside DXN. 400 credits between the 2 of them. Complexity, 4 sheriffs and a marshal. They are really looking on to pack some damage here in terms of economics.
And we've seen a couple of eco rounds go awry already. I mean, this map had a very slight one, especially from AGM, but you would never expect that. Jonah P relying on his aim as always. This guy is just nuts. Up close with the marshal, able to get the headshot. And now 3 players for Equinox. Over towards the bottom mid area with 1 coming in from sewers. And, well, it's really just going to have to come down to Ohai, who has to take on this corner interaction but can't get anything done. The readjustment from complexity has led their players over towards the A site. 3 players in that area, but Equinox, it doesn't seem like they're going to fall for that trap at all. With just about 50 seconds left, all 4 players for Equinox heading right into B main.
There's only one here, XP3 in the heaven. No chance he's going to recognize the threat. Won't be able to drop a smoke to delay, and by that time, it's far too late. Smoke up in heaven, paranoid to the back by Pancakes to ensure the round win. Spike will go down here. Now Equinox looking to minimize the damages that Complexity are going to try and pack on. Remember, it's all about economic damage here. The more guns they can take away from Equinox, the better. And they've got nothing to lose here, Gus. So Equinox will be on a high alert to ensure that nothing leaves their hands in these 4 players. You never know Complexity. Jonah P with a marshal up top. The Stingers and the Sheriffs to accompany.
Pancakes on the front lines taking down Jonah P, but the Sheriffs are coming up big. Able to get at least 1 back, but Pancakes in a beautiful position and actually able to get a second beaming through the smoke. Here's XP3 just walking around, and Sharky, well, again, it's just Sharky with a Sheriff, isn't it? Able to get 3, but DXN with great timing, shutting down what was Sharky starting to heat up a little bit. I mean, we've been without Sharky's stellar frag since the very beginning of map number 2, and at least we're glad to see it back, but it doesn't equate into a round for Complexity. But what it does equate into, Sully, is that economic damage. You already know how it is. Equinox now, they have to rebuy almost everything in their arsenal. They have the full util, yes. They have the full firepower, yes. But they might come down to what might be a reset within maybe 1 or 2 rounds if Complexity keeps winning. And oh boy, Complexity could find their way back.
Oh, Tech's nearly overwhelmed by the Seekers, takes down both of them. And one of them is stuck. And he's, yeah, that Seeker's vibing, man. He's doing a wiggle. There's the bird. Yeah, okay, well, they get basically what they wanted off a Seeker. They get info. That's what matters most off of the blinding light. But you invest a little extra utility. It's you know, truly tragic. Sometimes Seekers, their GPS system gets a little wonky, so it makes it a little bit hard to track the players. However, tracking this slow orb into heaven, Sharky is the one here in heaven, but he misses every single blade. I think only one ended up connecting, and now he's in a dicey position. Is forced to back away. Mina looking to latch onto this control. AGM still putting up a fight as he takes down one. There seems to be something with sentinels and screens. They always are able to find something. A 4v4, and the Killjoy ultimate has gone down. The spike is down, however, and Mina still up top. Needs to be big, but Ohai with the backstab. There's no chance he recognizes it. And 2v2 Equinox. The investments made in Complexity battle back.
They battle back for now, but Pancakes currently hot on their trail in terms of frags. Gonna be able to get another one? No, it's actually Tex that takes it away. Ohai defusing right in the middle of the smoke, and damage coming in, but Ohai within a pixel, within milliseconds, but Pancakes again comes up massive. That was Complexity's chance to break apart this entire game in half. But instead, Equinox, they can continue their momentum. But what a play at the very end. I mean, Ohai. I mean, you've heard the saying pros don't fake, but that one, oh, he was hard depending on Equinox just missing on their shots.
Full spray through it. I mean, of the 60 bullets that both of them shot, a few of them, a small percentage had to land, and thankfully at the last second they do get it done. So close for Ohai. And Equinox, we said the economic damage was going to be massive in the last one. Well, it still is prevalent. 3 players lost, but because of the round win in the last, they can't accommodate more of an investment here. But Ohai looking for some recriminations from the last round. Smoke in his face. They are trying to adjust, but cute fat boy on the lurk. In that exit. And in case Equinox need, he's ready here on the A site. 1 player left on the A. It's Sharky. He'll try and contest. Can't imagine much he'll be able to put up much of a fight. You never know with this share. Anything is possible, and he sits, waits, rings some shots out. Lots of damage done into Mina, however. And Sharky does put this in a weird position where Equinox are now maybe a little bit more timid because of these sheriffs that he has rung out early on.
I think that's a little bit more semantics in a sense because, yeah, Sharky could definitely pop off, but it's a man advantage. Not only that, but the rifle's fully in their control, and we'll speak of the devil, Sharky really the last remaining out of that massacre in ramp. And Equinox just didn't care. They go for full swings over in ramp. I mean, definitely unexpected. You rarely ever see that, but Mina, so sharp in the aim. Takes down Ohai as he tries to get a little bit of a cheeky jump for the info, but nothing of the sort. Equinox, they have an 11, Sully. Complexity, look at their economy. It's about to get busted open. Equinox, if they win this round, I would be remiss to say that this one is over.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too early to tell. Who knows? Complexity. We've seen eco rounds, but yeah, the position they'd be put in after this one would be dramatic to say the least. We'll see if they can pull it off. That operator, at least for Sharky, it'll get info, but that info doesn't matter if they're going for a 5-player hit. Jet dash, and not only that, a showstopper at the ready. Tex is looking to explode, and on the site he goes, but he's taking out a turret. Ohai's landed his, however. 1-for-1 trade, but it only is in showstoppers and only a kill for Complexity. They slow down here, Equinox, and rotations have been made, but they can't cancel. But full-blinded Pancakes finds a massive kill. The TP back to B to clear things out, but Pancakes knows the pressure on his shoulders. He's got to clear it out, and then he's got to get control. 3 seconds left for the smoke, and Complexity, they're running miles on this map. And Equinox, they still are undecided if they want to commit.
Sully, there's still AGM over towards the A side, and not only that, but Complexity, they still have a little bit of attention over towards B, but they don't want to get that control just yet. Instead, Equinox, they have a full free avenue to make their way on and a long rotation. Complexity, they could have just went all in on this site. They could have tried to fight Pancakes, but Equinox, they make that full long rotation happen back over towards their spawn, and now they're safe. Now they have the spike down, and now it's just a hard battle. 4v4, folks. In Complexity, they need it all. They need this one for the win. Or even a chance for the win. 2 players approaching in from heaven. Complexity has 2 more lower, and in they go. Full
what a flash!
Jonah B! That's a massive placement, but Pancake's able to get 2. Still 1 around the corner. Hey, Pancakes again gets himself a 4th. AGM, 1v2, and that's an ace for Pancakes. He's been absolutely massive here on splits, and he puts the dagger in the souls of Complexity.
Now 1 more round. The dagger is deep, but it's not finished yet. Complexity, a little bit of a life in them. They've got a buy, but it's one that is so shaky. Equinox, they've got everything going for them. Even if Complexity were to win this one, we need 5 in a row, 6 from here on out at least, Complexity, to bring us to at least OT, to keep the dream of the open qualifier #1 of the Valorant Champions Tour alive. And Complexity, they are hanging on by a thread. Equinox, after the first 2 close maps, this one seems to be a wash, but you never know. Complexity, can they hold it out? Mina, ready for the aggression with Pancakes. They're able to pick off the first, and now it's just Ohai who has to deal with 2 people swinging on him.
Again, it's a decent decision, but it's more or less known at this point. But there you go. Lots of pressure. Mina now getting healed up by the Sage. That's wonderfully done. Still, Ohai has to get this kill onto DXN, and it simply won't happen. Sharky with the Sheriff looking for something in mid, but Tex is there, and not only that, but Equinox, They rebuild their roster, and they're able to get themselves all 5 players here on the map. Ready, alive, and raring to go. XP3 around the corner would have to go massive, but it doesn't happen. He's only able to get one, and a little bit of damage onto another. Last person remaining is AGM. 1v4. He's up in heaven. Barely any util. No util at all. It's slow. It's steady. Complexity. The team. They've had so many laborious runs in tournaments. But for Challengers #1, it seems like Equinox, they had their number for the last 2 maps. And now AGM, somehow, he needs to bring it on back, but it won't happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Equinox, that was fundamental. That was textbook. They're going to win. Split 13-6, and they win the set over Complexity 2-1.
They make it to the round of 16, but they have got another blockade in their way. But let's not reminisce, or at least look to the future just yet. Equinox, this best of 3 series, it was not easy, it was long, it was labored, but they got it done in the end in 2-1 fashion. Like you said, the first 2 maps, what a series from Complexity. They look like a whole new team, but we said that Complexity, if they wanted to close out the series, it needed to be 2-0, but they couldn't get it done. Now let's take a little bit of a recap on our maps. We've got a nice replay package coming up, and boy, there were so many highlight plays, not in just Split, not in just Ascent, but in every single map. It felt like there was so much going on.
Every single map, it seemed like at least 1 or 2 players on the server were absolutely popping off, just trying to get as many highlight plays as possible. And one of the best plays of the day, of course, it had to be Sharky. Incredibly early on into the Ascent game, able to get himself a nice, clean 3K with the Deagle. But even then, he gets another one, right? He gets yet another banger of a round. I mean, it's almost incredible to me, right, that these players can actually maintain the momentum. But Mina, I mean, I mentioned play of the day. This one might have been it. Mina, 4K in 1 fell swoop in just 1 clip. And, I mean, he brought back the shotgun, technically. He gets it up for a singular frag, but, I mean, with the classic, I mean, you use it as a right click, and it's essentially a shotgun to that point. So, Mina with a whole lot of the highlight frags, and even then, Equinox, they didn't exactly depend on it. It was very fundamental, really, from both of these sides. It could have been anyone's game. Complexity, they just weren't able to really get some space in that second half, though.
Yeah, the third map was definitely a lot rougher for Complexity. You're on the attack. It's always going to be a lot more difficult. But, I mean, throughout this entire series, it felt like there isn't really one player we can pinpoint. I feel like we can obviously look at maybe Cute Fatboy, who I thought had a very stellar best of 3 series. And on the side of Complexity, I mean, it kind of juggled back, right? XP3 had times where he popped off. AGM, I mean, everybody, especially Sharky, I think, had the most consistent game of Complexity. Complexity, they're a team to be on the watch out for. I mean, the next qualifiers are just around the corner. They look good, and they seem ready for revenge. But Equinox, they take the series, and, well, they move on to face Envy in their round of 16.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching again the Valorant Challengers. We still have the round of 16 coming up, and just to set the scene, 8 teams from today's games will make their way into the closed qualifiers. So this last round already has huge ramifications here for the entire Valorant Champions Tour. You guys do not want to miss it. But before we go, we wanted to give a quick thank you to our sponsor in HyperX. I mean, first of all, they are the pinnacle of comfort. Do you know why I know that? I do wear a headset, in fact, and it's a HyperX headset. One of the only headsets that actually fits around this massive dome. So I don't think I have to say really anything else. Shoutouts to HyperX for supporting the Valorant Championship Tour. They are the official Valorant Challenger sponsor for peripherals and DRAM. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with our next game of this tournament. We don't exactly know which one quite yet, but there have been a couple of upsets. We'll talk about it when we're back.
Soalnya tuh tadi apa ya? Aku aja telat itu udah tiba-tiba dikasih tayangan yang garai mulai. Apa ya? Kayak tadi Mina itu. Mina itu ya Tuhan, tembakannya loh.
Sounds amazing.
Rian, ada Sungai, ada Sun.
I feel like I need to defend my scenes
Ada Martin.
because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
Need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
tadi pas awal-awal itu loh guys, pas pistol round di ronde 1 di map 1 loh, wah gila sih, yang shotgun, yang sortie, gila sih Mina ini. Tapi yang tadi itu juga pancake juga oke. Semua oke sih guys. Yang aku heran tuh kok bisa ya tangannya itu cepet guys. Jadi kok misalnya tadi pakai shorty kan diras ya, nembak kill 1, habis gitu langsung pindah ke klasik, pindah ke mana, klasik yang musuh. Wah gila sih, aku nggak kepikiran loh ngambil klasiknya musuh, kan klasiknya musuh kan jatuh di sebelahnya Mina guys. Wah nggak kotak juga kotak. Equinox Oke guys, jadi aku tadi itu awal-awal live stream tuh telat bangun guys. Jadi tim kesayanganku TSM ini kelewat ya. Aku bangun jam 8 ya. Mulainya jam 7 tadi itu, jam 7 pagi. Ya udah nggak apa-apa lah. Tapi aku tadi udah lihat tadi TSM menang ya. TSM menang. Nah guys, kita lihat. Oh ya kah, TP. Oh chatnya ada dimatikan. TSM tadi menang guys. TSM. Tapi resultnya aku belum lihat sih. Tadi yang menang tuh TSM itu map pertama. Menang map pertama. Terus lanjutannya masih belum tahu. Aku tadi lihat di internet. Mantap ya, ya mantap lah. Pagi-pagi nonton kan. Ini Valorant VCT-nya ini kayaknya makan waktu berapa ya? 1 mingguan lebih lah, 1 mingguan. Ada best of round of kedua, terus round of 16. Langsung diambil tangan. Kalau round of 16 itu kayaknya best of apa best of gitu, nggak tahu. Lihat aja nanti guys. Kalian pada libur masih libur kan. Kayaknya pada libur sih. Aku teman-temanku aku tanyain pada libur. Aku udah berapa? Udah kira-kira 2 hari guys gak buka valorant. Makanya masih istirahat kemarin. Capek. Aku gak nyadar nih dan aku videonya udah sampai 400 lumayan. Terus pas itu jam 8 tuh kebangun guys, langsung oh iya live stream, langsung panik, lupa kalau mau live stream. Wah parah sih. Biasanya mandi dulu sih, cuman ini enggak dulu, hampir telat ya tadi, bisa telat sih, hampir kelewat match kedua.
Money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break.
Lagi dah siap match ketiga. Jam 10 kurang.
Welcome on back, folks. We are here live once again for the Valorant Challengers #1. My name is Upmind, joined here by Sully, and we just got finished with a chaotic round of 32, and with a round of 16 starting, really, this is where the stakes start to get higher.
Yeah, everyone is vying for a spot in the close qualifiers. This is the best of 3 that decides who will be advancing to the top 8 and will have themselves a spot in the closed qualifier, where they battle for a spot in the second closed qualifier. They're looking for a top 4 spot overall, and this is where things boil down to BBG versus Sentinels, built by gamers versus what I would call the beast of North America, proclaimed #1. This game is everything to these teams, but Sentinels, it hasn't been an easy road to the top, has it?
Not at all. I mean, in this tournament, at least, it has not been easy. Of course, they opened up yesterday with a fairly easy 4-0 map record, but then they come into today. Team Serenity, an organization that has been around Valorant for the past, I guess you could say 2 months, 3 months. They've had some really good players there, but they ended up picking up a completely new lineup, to say less than like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So what has happened since then? I mean, Serenity took a map off of Sentinels, but not just a map, a dominant one at that 13-5 on, of all maps, Ascent. Of course, Sentinels did end up making their way back, dodging a huge bullet on Haven 2 when they were actually 13-11, 24-round marathon. So Sentinels, they are now in a little bit rough of a position, but this is really the game where they can really bounce back and just try to secure themselves that close qualifier spot to, again, just dodge that entire bullet.
Yeah, I feel like it's rough to say that Sentinels have been on a slow decline, but it does feel that way, right? In the NSG Winter Champs, they came second in a very close best of 5 with all 5 maps you play against Luminosity. Now, a lot of people were speculating, is this the fall of the Sentinels? Is this the fall of Tier 1 North America? Well, from an outside perspective, it does seem that way. But regardless, Sentinels, they've fought their way here, and they are here against, I would say, one of the best upcoming talents in North America. Built by gamers, have been always constantly improving. They've been looking to take down the best, and they have in the past as well. So built by gamers, this is no easy feat for them. But on the flip side, Sentinels, they themselves know that this is no easy feat whatsoever.
These two lineups filled with star power in a sense, especially when you talk about the Sentinels lineup. Their IGL, their leader, Shazam, stepping up to the plate, but they still have yet another massive mind from the CS scene, Dapper helping out. And when you have incredible individual fraggers like Sick, Sinatra, and Zombs, this team becomes an absolute unit. We've seen it, we know it. But now for BBG, this might be a little bit of an introduction for some of these players for those out there. So we'll run it down. Rob Wiz, Foe, Bjor, Will, Critical. These guys have made their names known throughout the scene already. They just took down Space Station in what might be the upteenth time that they faced that team. But now against Sentinels, it's a whole other challenge. I don't know if these two guys have faced off just yet. I think maybe once or twice, but I don't think so. This team is really led up in terms of frags by none other than Critical and Rob Wiz. Those two players, in terms of maybe notoriety on Twitter or anything of the sort, those two always get mentioned throughout the match. But watch out for Bjor. He's going to be the one controlling most of the map. He usually plays up on Killjoy and, of course, the occasional Cypher. But both of these lineups with massive opportunities going forward to make their way into Challengers #2 with ease. But it's a whole long road towards it, and their lineups certainly help.
Yeah, and I just want to throw in there that I feels like we have the best Sentinels in North America at the moment. Bjor is arguably one of the best Killjoys we've seen. He is so stable, so clutch in so many positions. And then you've got one of the most aggressive Sentinels on the other side, Dapper. He loves to get map control. He knows how to get dirty. But let's get down to the dirty business. Our map pool, boy, we know and love it. It's Haven, Ascent, and Split. I mean, it's a traditional map pool, and I feel like it could go either way. I mean, this is a very good map pool for both sides. Ascent being a very strong map for built by gamers. Obviously, Sentinels formerly known as us Sentinels, but they definitely have taken a slight detour off that title. Haven being our second, something that Sentinels did struggle with, like you mentioned, against Serenity, 13-11. In Split, well, it's the textbook map, I'd say, for Sentinels. They're one of the best in our region, and they are looking to take this series and find themselves in the close qualifier. But again, the map pool fits both of these teams and could easily go either way.
And it's funny you say that, because even with the loss that they just took to Serenity 13-5 on Ascent, they still are one of the best teams on this map statistically. 75% win rate thus far, and almost literally a month ago, they beat TSM 13-1 on that map. So Ascent still very much up in the air between these two teams. Now when we're talking about Haven, yet another one, 75% win rate, almost exactly the same thing, where they still have a very good record on. And not only that, but it's their consistent map pick outside of Ascent. Still BBG, they're going to be finding themselves in such a pit between these two maps. Their Ascent has to be so clinical because we already know how much control the Sentinels team actually has on Haven. But now over towards Split, still very much is a very dependent map for Sentinels, if not their very best map. I was mentioning 75% for both Ascent and Haven. No, Split, they have almost an 85% win rate on this map. You face this team, you are almost never going to beat them. The last time that they lost really on this map was against Gen G back in First Strike qualifiers. That was almost 3 months ago, folks. This team of Sentinels, Split, I mean, really this entire thing, it almost looks like a checkmate. But BBG, at least from the performances that we've seen on Ascent and Haven, they still very much have a chance.
Right, no matter what it is, Sentinels, they always have a little bit of a gap in their armor. You talked about Gen G 3 months ago, but more recently, I think we're all forgetting, I feel like this is a series that's so overlooked. NRG versus Sentinels. NRG took the map of Split off of them in that best of 3. They took it 13-10, so Sentinels, no matter how dominant, no matter how indestructible they seem or invincible they feel, there are always slight gaps, and Built by Gamers, they know they need to capitalize on those small gaps, and they need to ensure that they can take them in full force. That's going to be the key thing. We talked about Bior, we talked about Rob Wiz, but we're forgetting Will. Just a best of 3 ago against Space Station Gaming, went 53-45 for a plus 18 kill differential. Apologies, 8 kill differential. I mean, the dude is insane. When Rob Wiz and Will are online, Built by Gamers have no doubt in my mind that they can take this series. But again, it all starts here on Ascent. They're called the Sentinels for a reason, and it all starts with Built by Gamers here on the attack. This series is starting to come down, and we're going to see how it plans out.
And it looks almost literally like it was expected, right? Sick is actually going to be able to pick up the breach going into this game off the defender side, and especially with how tight Ascent can actually be in terms of really just one wall really separating an entire attack. Sick is going to be able to open up so much space, and especially because the sites are so small, that Rolling Thunder can cover up so much more space.
Yeah, Sentinels have, I feel like, been bouncing back and forth between their region compositions. I mean, just a best of 3 ago against Serenity, Zoms was playing the Brimstone, so they've decided to swap things and change things up just a tiny bit. So does this catch Built by Gamers off? Who knows? I mean, you've got the Breach fault line, the Flashpoints that can go through walls, and then you've got the Omen Paranoia. Altogether, it's a strong agent composition for Sentinels. They've been running the same, I feel like, since the beginning of Valorant, except for maybe the exception of having the Sage before on Sick, when that was still meta. But they've been running this agent composition time after time, and it's proved a very viable agent composition. So we'll have to see. Obviously, Shazam, gotta trust him on the Jet. Sinatra, with his filthy Sova, we know what he can do on it. But Built by Gamers, man, this is one heck of a feat they've got to pull off. Ascent is lined up. Gus, what are your predictions? Because I feel like this could go either way. We talked about it earlier as well. This series could come down to the wire on that 3rd map.
No way you're asking me for my prediction purely because, again, I have no idea what to expect here on Ascent. Sentinels, although it's been maybe 2 or 3 hours, they just got finished losing on this map in the worst way that they have had in months. No, literally, it is the worst loss that they have ever taken on Ascent, and it's against what we've considered as a tier 2 team. Sentinels should not be losing to those types of teams. Nevertheless, on Ascent, I don't know who's going to be able to take this one. I think I'll really be able to base my prediction off of this first map, but if I'm a betting man, I'm still saying Sentinels.
Safe bet, I guess, if you will. Sentinels, they're always have something up their sleeves. Early on, though, no real contest over map control. I mean, Dapper's at least got investigative down towards mid. There's, again, that aggressive Cypher that I mentioned in the pregame. Always looking for map control. He loves to take early fights, and Sentinels, that's their game plan. They're a very well-coordinated team. Everybody knows that. You saw it against Luminosity in the Winter Championship. We're probably going to see it here again. Built by Gamers need to be firing on all cylinders. A minute left on the clock. Slow-paced, Paranoia ready for Zoms. Shazam up top as well, able to dash away if he needs. Built by Gamers are walking into the jaws of Shazam and Zoms. Cam will get the first contact, and Will is already on the site.
Will already on site, but Shazam up top, essentially acting as the pivot. He has so much line of sight, and he somehow survives. 70 HP on him, has to take down this turret. This turret could have easily killed him. Good reaction at least, but up on top, it's Rob Wiz, and actually Will up in front, but this is massive from Shazam. Emerges from the smoke, and now in comes the retake from Sentinels. And, I mean, just trying to take it back in a sense because that heaven area, it was all theirs. BBG, they're not able to get the drop down. Sentinels, they were almost looking a little bit lost over towards that one site. But although I did say retake, it was almost literally the battle between literally both teams going for retakes of just one singular position. BBG, they weren't able to win it out in the end because of one player, but they still have the Stingers back in this next round, Sully.
Yeah, but like gamers will go for the full buy. There's a theme for some reason. Ever since the Stingers have become this god weapon, everyone seems to want to buy it up here. So Built by Gamers empty their pockets, 0 credits across the board. This could be a round that turns the tides, at least for this half, right? Built by Gamers can reverse the round. They can take the second. Sentinels might not be prepared for it. Recon Bolt gives some info. Shock darts to try and force Pior back. He takes a good chunk of damage. Down to 82 with 14 armor left over. Apologies, shields. It's a tag down towards the bottom of mid. Shazam has been caught spotting, and Will has exploited the gap. He's up towards market. But Built by Gamers playing a default. He's not going to go off of it, and still we'll get Shazam caught completely off guard.
Oh, there you go again, Sinatra. Trying to get a little bit of a follow-up over towards B main, but can't get anything again. Great peek out from Will early on. Cutting off a little bit of the rotation and really slowing it down, considering the fact that Will could still be looking over towards that area. But again, it's just empty pressure. 2 kills over towards the B area of things, but BBG, they've absolutely rotated. I mean, they were ready to really take up A main, and Will is still here to take on the battle. Sick with a good win at least. That keeps things still within 1 player. But Rob Wiz still up top with a massive opportunity, and Zoms is just not looking the right way. 2v4 as Sentinels. Not too much of a chance, but at least in terms of Dapper, we know how this man can really explode. It's still very slim. Foe with a good setup too. Don't really know if they're going to go for a peek off of this one, but it's really just going to have to be reactionary in terms of the contact. There goes the paranoia. Both Dapper and his teammate are both discombobulated. They can't make their way in. They have to readjust, and they just have no time, Sully.
Yeah, Sick as well with the Bulldog. I think he's going to be looking to save this gun instead. Foe privy to the fact that Sick was going for the peak. They're just trying to keep these players on site, get as many exits as possible, but Dapper knows he's got to run. And same thing here in a second with Sick, and he even goes down to the turret, and Dapper's gone as well. So only 1 player stays alive. And Sentinel as well. It could have been Bulldog and a Spectre walking away, and perhaps a light investment around it. They lose everything in that one. So Built by Gamers, here is their bonus. They're going to buy up light here, and Sentinels don't be looking to make any investments whatsoever. Okay, never
wait
mind.
a minute.
They've gone all in. They've dipped their
I was about to
pockets,
say.
and they've gone for it. 4 Stingers and a Phantom.
I was about to say I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
BBG, they
Try
were
and
the ones
convert it
that
back.
forced out the buy last round, so if anything, they only survive with 1 player. They make the full reinvestment back into this one. I mean, I don't see why Sentinels wouldn't try to fight it. It's still very early into the game. There's still quite a few rounds to actually go, so maybe this gamble, especially with actually better firepower, one of them even has a rifle, could work out in their favor. So BBG, let's see what they can pull off.
Alarm about to check the close corner. Oh, Shock Dart barely missing out on
Hampir
critical.
kena tadi.
Rob Wiz, he's been able to lurk up into A
Ambil
so
up tadi di
freely.
shock dart, hampir
Dapper
kena.
does have a cam. He'll get info to players crossing, but I don't think he's got an idea. Rob Wiz is right around the corner, and neither does Zons. Checks the second, and Rob Wiz with 2. Quick, clean frags. And Built by Gamers have the ace site. Sick will try and delay, but even he might get exposed. He does get a kill, but he's down in the red. Will looking for clearance and defender spawn. They're swarming the ace site, and Sick has to put on a showstopper. And I mean literally, if he wants to close this one out.
Di belakang double box.
He does have the Phantom, but it's not enough. He was the hero in that round, and well, Sentinels, they just get broken apart early on again. They try to go for a little bit of a cheeky battle back into A main with the off angle, but again, BBG, it's well targeted and well won in a sense where really all the 1vx's for Sentinels just go awry. Watch out for Sinatra though, could be able to get a couple of frags to really make things a little bit more expensive for BBG, but they hold on to almost everything they've got, and they can hold on to the SMGs. They don't need to reinvest. Last round was the force from Sentinels. Now, if last round was the bonus, this round is really the bonus.
Yeah, Built by Gamers keeping a decent amount of players alive, even picking up the Phantom from Sick. So they're going to be looking pretty. Rob was the only one that had to make the major investment, as he was the one to go down. The rest sticking to what they've got so far. It could even be a bonus if Rob was wanted if he just wanted to stick to the Blade Storm, but they're looking back on more damage. Save it for another day, for a rainy day, if you will. Good shock dart from Sinatra, though, to get a lot of early damage. They're going to fight for control back off a 6 fault line. Now, Bior has to back away. And on the other side, Zoms is contested back towards A main. So the focus needs to be mid. Do they recognize this threat? Yes, they've closed the blast doors. Built by gamers. They've been deterred there. And with Zom's control towards A, there's so much info here that Sentinels can play off of. The Dapper's giving them everything. And they've made a quick rotation back if they need.
A little bit of attention over towards A for Sentinels, and not only just a little bit, but a lot of it. In comes actually a full rotation for the team, and Zoms actually holds up the front line. Robwiz with a big one onto 6, still Shazam, I mean, with a classic of all things, still takes one back. BBG down to 1 player. They could be able to get the spike down, but that smoke up in Cat could just be broken apart. It's not exactly a wall, folks. Could be walked on apart, but there you go. There's actually a lockdown going in and could get exposed in the matter of seconds. Sentinels slowly make their way on. Zoms actually gets one back. That Killjoy ulti still going in, but they have to stay on the right outside of it. Bior now 1v2. Nobody gets detained. It's still there's one trying to punish. Oh, he still gets it, but the defuse goes in strong, and Sentinel somehow with such a scattered take, and BBG losing out on the first few interactions on site. Well, it all breaks apart and it whittles over for a Sentinels win.
Yeah, Dapper put the pressure on that smoke. They knew exactly what he needed to do. Ensure that the diffuser did not go down. You said Bior was taking off so much time off the spike clock. And well, you were right. So they recognize they need to put pressure on Bior to ensure that he can't take down Zoms. Or else Dapper might not even had a chance had he even gotten the trade. So 2-2. Still a buy here for Built by Gamers. Shazam's now picked up the operator. He's looking straight down towards Cat. He is forced to back away because of a recon bolt. Good info here for Built by Gamers. They recognize the threat of Shazam now. But this control, the battle for A main continues. And it looks like for now, Sentinels are taking the worst of it as already Sinatra goes down through a wall to Bior.
And Shazam. It doesn't look like I'm stopping any of this pressure. Wow, that dash was so far. Somehow Will able to catch Shazam as, I mean, honestly, Shazam, beautiful heads up play. He sees the smoke in the back line, and he was almost able to hide from it, but even then, BBG, the 2-man dub thus far, 2-man advantage in terms of frags, but there's 2 people on site here, Sully, but the util just might not be worth it. The firepower is what's just gonna come up huge, but really, the util is coming out. 6 still on the front line, and oh man, sick! 2 amazing shots, but even then, Critical and Bior with the trades back, and that 2-man advantage does come in huge at the end.
Tricky position for Zoms, no paranoia, or apologies, he does have a paranoia, I meant to say no smokes, but that's been charged up. Turret reveals his positioning, so this gets even harder. Smoke dropped as well, and he's struggling to take down that turret, but he does get it, and I think with the time that turret bought them, he's gonna have to save. Either that or go for some cheeky exits. He's actually sticking around. He's trying to ensure that nobody gets out of this one alive. If he can't live, nobody can. If they can't win the round, it's going to cost you here. Zom sticking, trying to get something out of this one. Can't get the first kill onto Critical, but they're dancing around Bior to go down. There's one to his right, and he doesn't even recognize the threat. 3-2 and Built by Gamers. They walk away with 2 bodies, but Sentinels, a huge investment off that operator, and this is again a weird economic situation. Zoms is the only one that's financially stable now.
Yeah, we're not exactly in that position either where BBG was quote-unquote in a bonus earlier. Sentinels, they can't really afford or really rationalize a buy here or force, so instead now Zoms at the 5k mark, he doesn't exactly know what to do. Oh yeah, he does. Oh yes, he does. He tosses down the operator down to Shazam. What on earth is this gamble? Doesn't work out for them.
Oh, Shazam might have a chance. It could have worked out. At least netted 1 frag there, but Shazam backs away. I don't think they want to give away the fact that he has an op so early on, but you can clearly see Built by Gamers are prepared for it. They recognize Zom had 5k and could have dropped over the operator. Like you said, this is a huge gamble for Sentinels. They should be looking to invest some ultimates around it, right? The Rolling Thunder, the Hunter's Fury, everything to accommodate a retake. Built by Gamers clearing everything out. Shazam on the B site, but Built by Gamers, that threat still looms over them. And they are so scared about it. Critical looking for something. Won't be able to catch Sinatra off guard. They do progress towards Cat. The cam up for Dapper will give him all the information he needs. Smoke's dropped as well by Zombs, and BBG, they have no idea where to go. 45 seconds left. The only control they have is back towards A main. And it's going to be a full-on take, but again, 3 players here. A lockdown, or apologies, not a lockdown, a Rolling Thunder and a Hunter Series for both sides could be the game changer for Sentinels.
Could indeed be, but there you go. There's that Rolling Thunder that I mentioned before. It takes up so much space. It actually halts up the take for a little bit more. Double Hunter's Fury going back and forth. And not only that, but a lockdown to cover up the A site. It's pure chaos. And there you go. The solo up of Shazam actually does catch up one. Zombs now with a frenzy. Long range tries to get another one, but now the pistols start to hound. It's working. Sick gets 2 off of it. And Shazam with the op. He makes it count with another double. Sentinels, the eco. They shut down BBG again. These rounds are starting to get so unpredictable now, but that is just Sentinels overwhelming BBG.
The delay of a Rolling Thunder, the Hunter Series, a spill disaster for Built by Gamers. The frenzies come up clutch. Built by Gamers, they had nothing going for them. No control towards B except for a single turret detailing whether a push was coming, and they were just playing around Shazam Sentinels. They were ready for his op to sing on the B site. It didn't need to sing. They got all the info playing it solo, and Built by Gamers, they concede the round. They're going to try a hero rifle of their own, but it's Critical with a Vandal instead. Sinatra with an early shock dart to deny input, to deny presence. Doesn't end up backing away, but just going to look for some more. Yours try to creep around here. Dapper up top towards Cat. Sees bullets going through. They recognize the force here. And Dapper, so aggressive on the Cypher. He's got all this information. A retake of B main and Sick. Catching BR off guard. He lines up a second. Trades go in, but it's just one. Critical. 1 versus 3 has 89 HP, but does have the spike. Shazam has his number. He's watching the angle. Had it not been for the Owl Drone, a tough clutch to be put into, but Critical. Let's pull the third back here, Gus. 1 versus 2. Doors don't go down, but he is stuck on the site.
Oh, Critical. Oh, baby. 1v2. Has a couple of players in his scope. Gonna be able to get one wide swinging, and Critical looking for the ace, and it doesn't happen. By 1 bullet. Dapper, are you kidding me? Survives with 30 HP in Sentinels. I mean, I talked about dodging bullets earlier, but man, oh man, Dapper had to be essentially Neo from the Matrix at that point. BBG, what an opportunity. But at the beginning of things, right? It had to be Sentinels with their hard B main presence. Still Shazam being huge on the operator, getting an early frag in mid. It all led up to BBG really depending on a miracle. That should never happen, but Critical, what an opportunity.
Guys, way too close. Look at the replay. I mean, this was the engagement that I thought would have ended the round. 3v1 and Critical. And Shazam missing that shot. He's able to pick up a third, and it comes so close. He only had the same amount of HP. Like you said, 1 bullet. Literally dodged a bullet there, Dapper. But now, 1 round still separating them. The full buyback for Built by Gamers at least. Critical with an Owl Drone to scout, but they don't know where Shazam is. He's still so close to the archway. And Shazam is gifted the first frag. Out goes the swing. And Zombs and Dapper are there to collect upon it as the Grim Reapers themselves. 5 versus 3. And there's no punishment up to Sentinels for the early aggression, except Rob Wiz escaped his way through the A main position, but they do know because of the neural theft now where he belongs.
Belongs up in A, and oh boy, Shazam belongs with the operator. Oh gosh. The 1-2 combo again, and not only that, but Rob Wiz, he did end up getting spotted out by this breach in the back lines. It's Sick who ends up getting the last kill. So Sentinels, that was as quick and clean as you can get mid-control from BBG. It was attempted, but ended up being completely squandered. I mean, shoutouts to Rob Wiz, right? He was able to get all that info, and honestly, if that mid-take or just that mid-control ended up really going down, this round could have actually been a BBG's. But instead, Sentinels holding down and relying on the players that were going a little bit more aggressive. I mean, they get it done. So now BBG, they're stuck on what would be a half buy once again. Critical hide. Glass Cannon Guardian. That's a weird one.
You know, he's gonna send the back. He's got a Hunter's Fury. Okay, Zoms. Big sound Rob Wiz. This is a chaotic round. Zom still sitting behind the garden. Dapper in the middle of the site. Good for 2. Critical. Glass Cannon Guardian. Is that really a cannon at that point? I've got no idea. Bior up close. He does manage one back. Maybe could pack on a little more damage, but Dapper's there to clean it up. 6-3 Sentinels. They make quick work of the round. They do end up losing 2, but no major investments need to be made. They hold on to the output. I think that's what matters most. Next round, though, Built by Gamers, the buyback. They are down by 3 rounds, and this is the turning point where they need to flip the switch and get back into gear.
Leave them right here.
They need the momentum back.
Odin.
And in this one, it's a little bit more scattered to BBG. They've tried this a couple of times. It hasn't been too successful, but that's mainly because Sentinels, although they're aggressive, it's well targeted in a sense. Especially now that Shazam, he's actually backed off of his mid position, and now he's taking up more Cat. Oh, that Owl Drone is going to take him away from his spot. That could have actually been a huge lineup for the man, but actually Sinatra on his lonesome on B. Like I mentioned, off the default, you're going to have players all over the place. And actually Sinatra getting his kill. And not only that, but Shazam baiting out time from that Owl Drone and finding a perfect opportunity onto Critical. Before this round is really getting started, BBG is down to already 3 players, but Will, on his lonesome, able to get 1. And not only that, but this B site is wide open. But A site is where everyone is at.
Right,
45
no
seconds
spike.
left.
Built by Gamers, well, Will has this site. There is no spike for them, and that is a long rotation. And look at Shazam. He's trying to cut it off. Same thing with Dapper. They recognize the fact that Will could be in market, but he has his back turned. He could go down here. Will misses the timing. He's got 3 players around him, and none of them have a single clue, but the trip triggers the turn, and Dapper takes him down. That could be the round unless Rob Wiz can entry cleanly as Zoms sits, waits, 41 HP, but a spray to go down, and Rob Wiz takes him out. 3 versus 2, but they do have this site, and that's what matters most right now.
No, absolutely. Zoms needed that one, but oh no, the spike never went down. It was so close to doing so. Still, now with a little bit more time, they finally do, but Foe, who's discombobulated by the Rolling Thunder. I mean, talk about perfectly timed. Just as that spike was about to take to the very last second, that Rolling Thunder comes in and stops it all. So Sentinels, they take full advantage of the 2 players that are completely off guard. And BBG, they have no chance.
It's the safeguard. When you need an ult or at least something to force a player off, you call upon that Rolling Thunder. Sentinels now, so much pressure applied. I mean, you see how aggressive these players are being. Shazam and Dapper scouting out mid, Zoms to assist. It's a roller coaster for Built by Gamers, and I'd say they've taken a little bit of a too many loop-de-loops. Feeling a little bit nauseous. 7-3. Early spray from Sinatra, but he's actually received a couple bullets back his way. Recon bolts exchange, but Built by Gamers, no one comes out the better, no one comes out the worse. And then Sentinels for now, a decent lock here. Sick prepared with the flashpoints. Watching for now a recon bolt, but out's not to come. They used that earlier. Sick with a flash. Trying to delay, but where are these rotations? Dapper's down mid, and Sick is doing what it can to hold them back.
Again, with that lockdown up, there's still more space for Sentinels to try to catch up a couple of frags. And even with the lockdown, they're not even taking the site yet. I mean, that's just incredible to me. There's one player in the back of site who's detained at the moment, but he's just waiting for that detainment to go down. I mean, it's the hardest bait on planet Earth, but even then, Critical, he recognizes it, but Sinatra still gets the kill back. Bior now 1v2, has the Vandal back, looking for a headshot, still trying to go very aggressive, and good fake off the spike plant. One more player remaining, both players down to low HP, and Bior, he pulls it off. 1v3, and just like that, BBG, they have a chance. But you gotta think, right, Bior, he tried to take up as much space as possible for this BBG team on site, had the lockdown. Sentinels still fought it, and you gotta give it up to Sinatra too. What a great idea.
Yeah, to sit in the back, and Shazam as well, great op shots. It felt like when those 2 op shots go off for Shazam, it didn't seem like they stood a chance. It felt like Built by Gamers were out of this round. But Bior, you said he takes that space and he uses it to its maximum potential. Gets everything out of his positioning. And Sentinels, a close one, but built by gamers. We said he could be one of the best Sentinels, one of the best Killjoys in North America. Bior stands strong in the clutch position. Last round of the half, and Sentinels, they want to extend their lead just a little bit, but built by gamers, again, hot on their tail. 4 players stacked up. Have a Neural Theft, a Blade Storm, from the shadows for Sentinels. And it's Will who only has the Empress. Rob Wiz watching for a spot, a little bit of an elevated position. They need a pick to go off of this one. They could just be walking in blind. And there are 3 players here. Fault lines to hold them back. After shock and flashpoints as well. Built by gamers. There's going to be a plethora of utility waiting for them. So they opt to cancel. But Bior, can he get anything out of this one?
For BBG fans, I would hope so, because he's in such a weird position. But no, he can't. Dapper gets him back, and not only that, but the neural threat goes big. Ultimately, the worst case scenario for Bjor. Now, in they go, actually. Sentinels, they've almost full rotated here on site. Sinatra somehow able to get a massive kill through the wall, and now Sick, he's the one really holding things back. Shazam spots out one, trying to fly on away, but instead now Rob Wiz with a classic and literally zero hope as Sick, after the 2K on site, holds W, and he takes down BBG one last time for the half. 8-4 going into the second, and BBG, they've gotten no momentum under their belts. Almost all of their rounds coming in scattered off of a streak for Sentinels.
Sentinels look good on the defense, but now we got to go back to this play. Big shot from Dapper, and the Swiss Army knife of Sick pivoting around whenever his team needs him to play any position. He comes up huge. Sentinels, big play from Sick to close it out 8-4, but like you said, no momentum here for Built by Gamers. This was a map that they looked very good on so far. Keep in mind, their strongest side is the defense. This is where they need to turn up. The pistol round needs to come big. I think a 62% win rate on the defensive side, but Sentinels, based on the buy, they're looking to get aggressive. Shazam with light armor and a Frenzy. They take it slow, despite the Frenzy guns they've got, Built by Gamers. How did they adjust? So much utility here by Bior on the A site to try and lock it down. It is Rob Wiz up close to make the first contact, but Flash to go in, allowing Shazam to swing. There's more to come with a Cypher Cage down, and I think instantly Built by Gamers recognize they are going to be playing retake here, but these Nanostorms can do so much damage as Shazam finds coverage under Heaven. That'll delay the spike plant as Will's able to drop it, and BBG, because of Nanostorms, can keep this one going.
Ooh, Sick. This could be big. Fault line down the line.
They don't even know about Bjork.
No, they have zero clue about Bjor. Bjor still just vibing. I mean, it's almost unbelievable that he's still in there. Could be the linchpin, but Shazam just trying to make up as much space as possible. In goes Foe, but even then, finally emerging from their positions. Bjor wasn't able to get any kills, but he definitely makes up space. Sick gets one back. Same thing with Will. Same thing with Sinatra. And now on the 1v1, Sinatra anticipates the peek from Will off of a recon bolt. I mean, that was as last second as you can get in Sentinels. Even off of that setup from BBG, even off of the man advantage, they still take it back.
It's such a tricky position if you're Will, because you see that recon bolt and you recognize, I have to swing, but I'm not there in time. He's going to have the better positioning off the tick, and gives at least Sinatra just a couple of seconds extra that he needs to figure out what's going on. Built by Gamers, second round 4 spy. Just like we saw in the prior where they were able to convert. Can they do it here again? You talked about momentum. Well, this would be a momentous round for them in this game, at least in map number 1. Already Will taking a deep position in B main. Mojo looks to clear but doesn't get anything. There it is. Will able to get one. Overhealed now as Foe trades it out. They're still up a man in a 3v4, and Shazam has taken a heap of damage. As Built by Gamers, they somehow have the advantage with the scrappy guns they've gone into.
Well, in they go. Rob Wiz is actually still awaiting up in Heaven with only a classic, but even then, Sentinels taking on the site back. BBG almost a full rotation already. You have Zoms in a really important position at this point, especially with Cap being more or less open. could still be that pivot for the spike going in later, but Shazam is really gonna have to be the instigator, and indeed he is able to get one. But even then, Rob Wiz with a trade back. Sick still has the fault line, waiting up for that spike to still get pinged, and indeed he gets it. Zoms is still in the same position. Critical is still defusing, but Sick right through the smoke gets it. Now Zoms 1v2, waiting up for another one. 15 HP on both. Rob Wiz gets it back. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Spike is down to half, and he has more than enough time. Sentinels pulled this off so many times in the first half, but BBG, they get one back on an eco round.
Dude, Rob Wiz has such a gamble there. He knows that he's 1 HP. He knows Zoms is 1 HP. You either jump, you either get the kill, or Zoms expects it and you go down. Such a gamble by Rob Wiz, but it pays off. It catches Zoms off guard. And Built by Gamers, they're 2 for 2 in second round conversions despite losing the pistol. This is amazing. Sentinels, there's that momentum, but here's the same buy to follow. A Phantom for Sick and 4 Stingers bought up. We saw what they could do, but Built by Gamers in the first half were able to take it from them. Is it going to be the same thing here with Sentinels aggressive towards A main? There's the swing. Rob Wiz with 1. Has to back away off the dash, and they look to reset here as Sentinels are slowed down with Dapper on a lurk.
Sinatra tries to force out the scenario himself, but it's really Bior to actually get 2 frags. Rob was with 1, and again, no matter what Sentinels actually tried to pull out in that round, it all just came down to the A main interactions. That's massive from BBG. Purely because for really these last 2 rounds, Sentinels, they've almost been willing to walk through these sites relatively willy-nilly, just carefree. BBG with a hard hold early on, it's going to be flawless. Their rifles, they make them count. And now they're just going to be able to save everything into the next round. This is a true bonus.
Yeah, Sentinels. First half holds true. Built by Gamers take the third after converting the second. Now Sentinels here, like you said, they don't really have much, so this is their true bonus. Built by Gamers. Not a lot at stake here. But of course, Sentinels with a couple clean shots, you never know what could happen. So the risk factor is still prevalent. Shazam could use the Blade Storm if he wants to. Sick with a Rolling Thunder if they want to go for an exec. Depending on what kills they find early on, though. That's the key thing. I don't think they're going to be looking to invest the Rolling Thunder, at least in particular. They can't get a good start. If they can't get the ground running, or hit the ground running, apologies, as Rob was hoping to delay that push out towards middle. Well, there they go. Hit the ground running indeed. First shot with the Blade Storm, and it's a kill. 4v5 Sentinels. This could be a call for a Rolling Thunder now.
And that's yet another one of those effects that Sentinels, they've been, again, very patient early round throughout really the entire game. And they take on that same mindset into the attacking side where really it's just Shazam waiting out on an opportunity for someone to peek out over towards Cat, and he fully takes it to his advantage. But wow, Bior, you gotta be kidding me with that sort of patience in a sense. Still able to get that kill, but Dapper with a bounty gets right back. But oh, foe! The Stinger comes out massive, lines him up. 1, 2, 3 for him. But now Shazam, 1v2 with the knives out. Gonna have to get this last one at least. But Critical gets it back. Foe, are you joking me?
3 kills off a Stinger, and they lose 3. It doesn't matter though, Gus, because you know what that round was? It was just their bonus. They lined themselves up. Look at the replay. They all walk in quick succession, full blinded off of foe's paranoia. It was picture perfect for him, and he gets it done. Oh my God, Built by Gamers. They're bringing this one close. That was their bonus, and here's their one extra. They've got an operator for Rob Wiz now, and he might just get a couple of picks because they're walking right into B. Link's good tag though from Dapper does force him away. That will give Sentinels control of mid, at least for now.
Yeah, no, that's big. Especially like you mentioned, Rob Wiz in such an important position, could have been able to actually clear out a little bit more, but that Owl drone actually spotting out one over towards, oh no, still over towards the garage, but Shazam fully has the angle and he still wants to fight this. It's a little bit weird, but Market is fully in the target of Shazam. Great communication. Flash right into a dash. But 2 players here on this site, and Will has the Empress of Darkness out, looking to explode, but it's not going to happen. Shazam takes him down. Zoms gets a kill in the back of sight. That is clean, and that is clinical for Sentinels.
Rob Wiz on a flank. He could get something. Dapper, no, missed shot. Knives out. And this is a threat. There are 2 players here. Can he get the first? Nothing for him. Bior on the run. Tail tucked between his legs. It's a 10th round for Sentinels, but Bior is not going down without a fight. Decent exits. That's all they are. He even gets the lockdown charged up, and there's not more to come. Sentinels walk away confidently with 3. Bior did what he could, but Built by Gamers, they can't find the 8th, and Sentinels on double digits. That is going to sting, but they do have enough credits. However, Rob Wiz with the only major investment in the last is the one that's going to have to suffer, but the buy still definitely doable with Critical's Odin. See what he can get towards B main. And then Rob was having to now work with a Vandal. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. As Sentinels 3 rounds away from taking map 1. Can they keep on the pressure?
Again, interesting stuff because BBG, they had a good early setup, but it's just broken apart again. But oh wow!
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, Will. I was about to say, the recon dart goes out, and instead of, you know, falling to it and essentially just wanting to take on the battle, he actually wants to Hunter's Fury back over towards B. But again, it's that weird scenario where really just the most off-angle things or just the most off-kilter things can count as a fake, and indeed it did. Sentinels are now fully onto this A site. But, oh boy, the Killjoy ulti that we saw getting charged up last round by Bior is finally coming out to play. And, well, now the rest of Sentinel, they all have to back out over towards that A site. BBG, they're all here. They're waiting out for a couple of smokes. That jet smoke is going to take just a little bit to dissipate, but they're still fighting. Oh my!
They're detained, all 3?
Are you kidding me? So many detainments off of just 1 go! Now Bior is able to get 4! What? Sentinels, they wanted to fight that as early as possible. I mean, imagine if they had the Hunter's Fury at the very end of things, but again, that's just semantics. The lockdown goes in. You would expect Sentinels to just stay away from it and not fight, but instead they all get detained. Easy frags for Bior.
That's insane. They all get stuck. Last second, 3 detained. That is such an awkward position. The lockdown, I guess, from Bior. Those exits in the last didn't go for nothing. And he gets 4 here. He's almost back to another lockdown. Within 2 rounds, he could have 2 lockdowns. Sentinels were completely caught off guard, and now Built by Gamers, momentum back in their side. The question was, could Sentinels keep the pressure? Well, no, they couldn't. 10-8, and Built by Gamers are back into this game.
Yeah, they sure are. In the weirdest way possible. Sentinels, I mean, they've been so clinical off those takes, and I was just like, oh, maybe they can continue things. But instead at this point, Rob Wiz, oh man, what a spot. Not only that, but he was the first contact too, but still an even better angle. Bior still was sitting up towards the A site, able to get 1, but that's a quick trade that they absolutely needed. Watch out though, there is a teleport in right as I say it. There it goes for Zoms. Zoms is going to be able to get the B plant, but not only that, but watch out. Sick is on the flank. Sick has such an important angle. He could catch 1 or 2 players. Gonna be able to get 1. It's a firing range for him. Tippity tapping away. Able to get 3 out of it. Oh my lord, Sick. BBG, they had all the momentum in the round. They win out the initial interactions. Sentinel seems like they were done over towards that A site, but instead the teleport goes over and nobody clears cats. Sick is just having it for free.
It's back-to-back rounds with 2 solo plays. Bior's insane lockdown play, and then 6 insane lurk. He's having a game and a half right now, 23-14. The dude is on one as breach. This Sentinels roster, it feels like there's been no dip in performance. Maybe Sinatra, but even then, everyone is playing their part. His support has been insane. And Built by Gamers on the verge of defeat possibly with this round loss. Who knows? Owl Drone to get info, but there are 4 players waiting, and are they ready? Paranoia out, contacts are made, swings go in, and they go blow for blow. 3 versus 2, and Bior's got a lockdown off of just 1 single kill. Sentinels scamper away from the A site, and Critical is what awaits them. If he can get the tip, but he taps like you said that Sick had, this round could be over, but they don't cross. They readjust back to Cat. There is so much utility from Bior waiting for them here. Alarm bots, nanostorms. It's going to be hell for Sentinels as they walk on in.
Indeed it is. There you go, folks. Not only that, but the alarm bot takes it up, and Fo was there. Wow, Bior. Yeah, what a readout. What a setup. EBG in that round. They were the ones with the full control. And now Sentinels, not the best of positions, right? I mean, it almost seems like 5 minutes ago we had Bior on his own lockdown. Oh wait, it was about 5 minutes ago. I mean, he's been exploding this map. 21 kills for Bior on the Killjoy of all characters. I mean, that's huge. And now Sentinels, they could start to bait out a little bit more off of this one. It is 11-9. They're really just desperate to get that elusive 12th and 13th rounds. They're gonna have to work at it. It isn't Eco and BBG. They're the ones getting tantalizingly close.
Yeah, Rob Wiz waiting, recognizing that Dapper probably threw up a cam, took a little bit of a late peek. Couldn't unfortunately catch anybody. Now Sentinels. Zoms has worked his way up in market. He needs to be so good on this lurk. Rob Wiz sees nothing. These are the adjustment Sentinels are trying to adapt with BBG right on back again this lockdown. You see the position Bior has. If he goes down, Sentinels could take the round, but they are banking on this lockdown. They need Bior to stay alive, and it's quiet. Sentinels, 55 seconds, so much control everywhere on this map. They're right on the doorstep of Catwalk. They're literally in market knocking on B. And they've got utility and ults to do it as well. Zom's looking for anything. Nothing spotted. He's the one player. One knife left over as Shazam is elected to use it instead for the turret. And Rob Wiz, he's expecting him, and Shazam, tricky position to be in with only one blade left his blade store.
Oh wait, he does have Rob Wiz at a headshot angle, but I think he ended up using it. Yeah, I think he ended up using it off the first contact too. So unfortunate, right? But I was actually expecting a little bit something crazy from him. But wow, okay, Bior actually goes for the lockdown in that same position, and not only that, but the Rolling Thunder is gonna cover them up. Double over towards Cat. That's a beautiful takedown of the lockdown by Sentinels. Only one frag back for them though.
Shazam?
Not only that, but Rob Wiz is starting to help. Shazam, he was in the back of sight for the longest time. Still a 2-on-3 though. It's the pistols that help to hold things back, but it's actually the stinger from Dapper to get himself 2 kills. Oh no, 1v1, low HP. No way, Dapper takes this. He does. Sentinels off the eco. BBG, they get completely wiped over towards Cat. They make their way on site. Shazam on the frenzy. Dapper on the stinger of all things. And BBG gets shut down again. How many times are we going to see an eco round from either one of these teams? How many times are we going to see an eco from Sentinels?
Back to back to back, insane rounds. First Dapper, or apologies, first Bior, and then Dapper, and then Sick, sitting in the back. What an insane round. I mean, Sentinels. This is one heck of a game. The last few rounds have been nothing but amazing. Rob Wiz aggressive down towards A main. Oh my god, this is intense now. Dapper dropping a sight for Cage, but look at these tags. Much damage done. One off of the Nanostorm. It's a flip block, and again, Built by Gamers. It's a 5v3. Dapper's trying to salvage something, but just some way. Built by Gamers battle their way back. A Hunter's Fury and then a Nanostorm. All they need, and Shazam revealed. This is so tricky, but Dapper in alert. This is big. He's got one. Gate goes down, and now just down to 4 for Built by Gamers, but Dapper ready. Trip goes up. He's got 3 in his sights. Can he get anything? Nothing. 2v4, and it's Sick and Shazam, the top fraggers, to try and clutch this out.
Putting up in a crossfire too, and goes the first contact as foe. Now it's just Shazam down to a 1-on-4, and he's realistically in the worst spot possible for a multi-man retake. So there you go, BBG. They dodged the 13th round, and yeah, like you mentioned, I actually do have to correct myself. Earlier I said Dapper when instead it was actually Sick at the end of that round with a stinger, but even then, Dapper just the round before went absolutely massive, but in this round it was critical really to open up the space. I mentioned that this guy was a really good consistent fragger in a sense, but we haven't seen too much of him in terms of really highlight plays or something of the sort. But that Hunter's Fury was really what made the round. It's the util for really the entirety of BBG that opens things up. But I mean, if we're talking about util, we're talking about frags, Bior has been the one to control all sorts of tempo in this game thus far.
Yeah, his utility has been massive for Built by Gamers. It's been a game changer for them, and I think it was ultimately keeping them in this game. A couple players, one charge off the ult, in particular Sinatra. Dapper scrapes away with 4 HP. Barely standing and lucky to get out of that situation alive. Will be main control assumed here by Built by Gamers, and Sentinels on the back foot. They've got to make this rotation. They understand a coordinated hit is needed, right? They have a Hunter Street for Sinatra. Maybe they can use that in some fashion. Built by Gamers. Players are ready to rotate. Will not too far off. He's controlling mid, ensuring no late lurks from Dapper. Recon bolts. Straight to the top to clear out Spike, but there is a big shock dart sick to capitalize. Clearing out the back sight, Sinatra gets nothing. The third shot, nothing more. And now Sentinels with the first kill have cleared out the site, and it leaves Built by Gamers in a 4v5 retake for the game and a possible 24th round.
Possibly so, but it's tough for BBG, especially off that little peek there. Yeah, we got a hint of it. Dapper from behind with the Singer, 4 HP! He might have just put the dagger into BBG, and now in comes Sinatra with another SMG. Well, there you go. Will now, 1v3. These players aren't approaching him. It's just chunking time off the clock. Will has to make this perfect and right on time. These last two players, they're not peeking for a reason. Will gets the perfect pre-fire, but Shazam finishes it off. And just like that, Sentinels, they win out the map 13-10.
Exactly what you wanted for Sentinels to get it going after a 13-5 loss against Serenity. It seemed like they were a little bit shaky on Ascent, but this was nothing of the sort. They looked good on both sides. Built by Gamers, though, they brought the heat, they brought the fire, and they looked good as well. Got the second map, Haven. Performances on Haven. This second map is still undecided, and despite it being Sentinel's map pick, could be BBG's, and we can obviously see it.
Bisa ya, pro player tuh kalau pakai stinger tuh enak gitu ya. Kalau aku pakai kayak busuk gitu. Aduh, emang gak bisa pakai ya. Heran. jam 11 kurang 10 menit guys. seperti itu. Wah. Oh, hilang suara nih. Oke, Su. Kalau gini gimana? Hilang suaranya apa? Suaraku atau suara dari live streamnya? Gini dah. Oh, suara video hilang. Oke. Iya dah. Oh, streamnya. Iya dah. Oh, streamnya. Kasih sound effect dewe. Peciu. Si. Ya apa sih? Apa wes metu? Ya apa sih? Apa wes metu? Oh, sih belum. Si. Refresh. Cek belum keluar ya. Kayak gini apa?
Things very clean. BBG, I mean, really, they didn't have too much to actually work with in that last round. Going into this one, however.
Oke. Boh, hilang mana? Mau geli loh.
Doesn't get, I think, caught out here if they need to. If he feels
sing mau wis metu, berarti aku gak hecetan nih.
already tagged up. Foe in the back lines.
Cross.
It is a lockdown here as a dash goes in, and Rob Wiz from where? 2 versus 4 off of an insane shot, and Sentinels are broken down as Bior comes for the flank. Sick left in the clutch, but Rob Wiz hit again.
Dude, that was point blank. That dash went right into sight. Not only that, but right into the smoke. So Rob Wiz had almost no clue, and he did it blindly. I mean, 2 shots essentially back through cover. We'll barely see it. You see the dash in, and zero clue, right? He just saw the dash in, and I mean, he took a shot in the dark, and he took it all the way to the bank. Now, ladies and gentlemen, BBG up of yet another big round from Rob Wiz. Well, they have a chance. With an op in his hands, I think there's always a chance, really.
Tear it up for the contact. Owl drone down towards C. They've got so much info here built by Gamers. Critical sees nothing. Rob Wiz with the peek. They know the B hit's coming. They've got no lockdown though. So Bior's in a tricky position, but again, his utility has been key, and there's a great flash. It catches everyone blind, but Will can't get anything off of it. Needs the hot hands now to delay as they start to march in Garage, but Critical, the Owl drone early on, gave him all the info, all the play, and Sick does get a trade, and Bior gunned down. They're getting risky here built by Gamers, and Sentinels under pressure, stay calm, but Rob Wiz, what can he get here, Gus? 3 players around the corner, it's 1, can he get 2? Dashes away, tries to get some blades into him. It's a 1v2, and Critical's down to just 1.
How did Critical even get that kill? Aiming through the wall, but Shazam! Picks up the up from Rob Wiz. And again, I think that's just Bogdan's law. Low HP, you pick up an up, it all just works on your hands. BBG with a massive opportunity at the end of things, and Rob Wiz just missing out of the knives. Sentinels, they survive once again.
Just barely as well. I mean, these rounds, extremely close. Sentinels able to scrape on by again, built by Gamers. Another awkward buy. Guardian, Bucky, Bulldog, anything they can bring and muster together in this crucial round. Owl drones go down. There are 3 players here, but neither Owl drone gets the info they wanted, and Shazam gets the head peek. Rob Wiz down. Sick finds Bior towards middle. And Sinatra looking for a little more on the spray. Foe is so tagged. He's pushed on through. Tries to get something from it. 3 shots could be enough, but Sinatra ensures the 3rd won't connect. 2v5. So Critical is able to muster 1. Sinatra can do a lot of damage here. 2v3. Hunters to recharge, but again, Sentinels in a comfortable position with most sites already cleared out now.
Yeah, it's just a guessing game at this point. There was a kill towards mid, but Sentinels, they have been ones to be fairly lurky in a sense. They're not really satisfied with really one site being in their control. Once they clear out the back lane, that's even more info that they have for themselves. They're able to really branch out, and indeed they did. They're going to clear out the C site. There's 1 person in Garage, and again, that's just poorly timed, purely because they had someone in that Garage area. So now Critical, he feels a little bit dumbfounded, because now Sentinels have themselves a little bit of space, and the round is essentially theirs. 2v3 though, still a chance.
Shazam already watching that angle. Will trying to lurk around. They already knew from the get-go that as soon as the trip was broken where the flank was coming. And you're right, built by Gamers, no real chance in this one. 7-3 Sentinels. After looking for exits, does get Will, so no guns, or at least not enough guns, I'd say, to suffice a decent round for built by Gamers.
Di belakang ono musuh.
He knows his player's low. It's the classic of his best bets. Yeah, Sentinels, easy 7th round. Like you said, they're never content with just one site. They play it smart. They don't get caught off guard by a flank from Critical. But instead, Critical gets caught off guard by Sick. No gun saved. And built by gamers. They are severely, severely punished. Now moving forward, this is just going to be the Rico. Moving into the last round of the half, they want all the guns possible to try and battle against Sentinels. Sentinels, with their credits, are starting to stack up on the arsenal. Odin for Sinatra, and still the op for Shazam, which has been just as good, I'd say, as Rob Wiz recently.
Oh, surely so. I mean, Shazam was really the one that had utilized that operator to its full success, to its full potential off of that first map, and really only now are we seeing the op really succeeding in BBG's hands. But wow, oh wow, okay, Sick gonna be able to get an early kill over towards mid. BBG getting a little bit desperate, even again, that is speaking in a little bit of absolutes, but it's almost a dumbfounding situation where BBG, they are looking for a couple of frags and really as early as possible, and they're just getting caught off. Critical, however, with only 5 HP, escaping that scenario. Sinatra goes down.
Dapper missing the time on a Bior. Will might get caught out, but Dapper again missing out on the time, and maybe not this time around. 2 players, possibly a third lining them up, but Will with the stinger from distance. Able to shut down Dapper. There's a Phantom that can be recovered, and this round is recoverable here. Lockdown available as well for Bior. 3v3. Sick will invest at least this run it back to try and force these players on out of here. Built by gamers. Super vulnerable rounds. They are prepared to invest this ultimate. Hands ready, lockdown down, and Sentinels, they're going to be stuck in the site unless they can make a quick getaway. Already Nanostorm's going in to force players out of the cubby. This is a strong setup, and Rob Wiz as well, anticipating someone to run away. They've now got the man advantage.
Okay, Sick. Let's get one back onto Rob Wiz, but an even bigger shot over towards Long. Does make up some more space. Sentinels just trying to hold off as long as possible. Only one person remaining off this 1v2. And Bior barely escaping. Still up in that corner, but ooh! That is nasty from Sick! What a flick! Bior thought he had a chance, but Sick puts him down. 19 kills for Sick, and we're barely through 11 rounds in this game. What on earth has popped off in the mind of Sick?
Kill kau nak nge-blend konco gitu, kau ono. Tadi ada sih pas di match
well surpassed the halfway mark, and she's Sick. All right then, if you want to be that brutal, go ahead. Critical. Looking for something downrange with a Hunter series. It's the last round, so you got to make these investments. But the same thing for Sentinels. So many ultimates, and Sick trying to add another to his tally. But Bior that barely escapes him with 16 HP. Will is getting a lot of info. Shazam ready for his run it back, so they no longer have control. Will could have had it, but Shazam sits back, and now BBG have to adjust.
Ada mati kabeh ditembaki. Leon.
That's so awkward.
And the spike now.
Hey, a small spam, and there you go. As humorous as it is, that is very much an important scenario now for BBG. They have clear control, but oh wow, Sinatra! Gotta be joking me with that Hunter's Fury. Still tracking down his opponent through the wall, and again, just well placed in general. Spike is still very much in the control of BBG, however, with one person right in the smoke. Wants to take a full advantage up close. Still with the spark in. The recon bolt going off. Shazam doesn't actually want to go for the wide swing. 25 seconds left. And Zoms gets the kill onto Critical. Now it's just down to Foe. Shazam in there. He just backs on out. He's about to head out, but Foe takes him down. Now Foe waiting up for the cross up. Still a teleport. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. 6. He has it! Zoms, the teleport! With the buzzer beater, to say the least! Almost literally from downtown, and a Foe. He's already rotated. Zoms does not hear a singular thing. Foe is in. Zoms is
Gak
out.
nyampe otak gue.
Both of these omens down to just about 80 HP. Foe is just trying to take up as much control of site as possible to really restrict this down to 1 or 2 spots. Either it's short or it's heaven. But little does he know is that Zoms is ready and waiting for him already. The spike is planted for him. Foe hasn't found anything. The spike is ticking, and just like that, that's it. What a fight from Zoms. The fragging garage, the spike control, and somehow BBG, the closest opportunity that they've had in a long time for a round, all just dissipates in the palm of their hands.
500 IQ from Zoms to commit to the TP. I got so scared he would have had no time at whatsoever. My God, so many sick plays from Sick, and Zoms with that last one is just the cherry on top. Sick is having one heck of a performance. Again, 19-5 at the half. He's looking to surpass the 25 or 26 kill mark he had on Ascent. The dude is popping off. Sentinels look unstoppable here on Haven. And now on the defense, they're just as good at the defense as they are on the attack. If you thought their attack was good with a 58% win rate overall, they've got a 57% here on the defensive side. So Sentinels are looking good. They are looking dominant. And it's going to be a difficult one here for Built by Gamers. But again, the game is never done. 6-round gap. It can be recovered, but that life cannot. Critical down early as BBG start to split into garage to the C site, but they're stopped in their tracks.
Ooh.
Dapper. Let's get one back up to Will, but you are flying in, and no way. He still keeps fighting with 3 HP. Sees an opportunity, he tries to snag it out, but that's smoke. Barely enough time for it, and Sick just keeps holding W, doesn't he? He doesn't stop fragging. He sees a pixel, he aims at it. It's as easy as that, right? No matter what HP this man is at. Sentinels, they win out the more than important, the critical pistol round is now BBG. They find themselves up against the ropes with only 3 rounds separating Sentinels and a path into the quarterfinals.
It's such a tricky position to be in now if you are Built by Gamers. I mean, you have to full buy here. It's a risk, it's a gamble, but they've been so good on second round conversions, and this needs to be one of those rounds. They need to be sharp. They need to be as good as ever. Shazam, early damage done. Shock darts out as well. And there's already a push as well from Sinatra. He's getting on such a fast flank. There's no Killjoy turret. There's no alarm bot. There's nothing. They've got no idea. Sick is right behind him. Sinatra with a free frag and Shazam in the back sight. He will be revealed, but Zoms is there to support. It is a massacre. And the flank still, it's keeping back Dior, who has the spike. How do you go about this if you're Built by Gamers? You surely can't. Sick around the corner. Sinatra with the frag. It's a 2 versus 2, and wow, Critical, he's all the way on the flank already. He's back, he's doubled back, and Will in a 1v1. Somehow Sentinels have let this slip.
Whoa! Sentinels let it slip, but they don't let go at all. Who else, right? It had to be Sick at the end of things. 7 HP. And again, you gotta feel bad for BBG. No matter how close they're getting in these rounds, it always seems like Sentinels has some sort of ace in the hole, has some sort of frag back, a chance back. And it just so happens to be that the name of that chance, the savior for this Sentinels team in terms of absolute dominance, is none other than
Sick can get off of this. Zoms clean shot onto Rob Wiz and Sinatra doing Sinatra things. He's on a fast flank. He's looking for information. He's got a free frag. He's got a second, not the third. Bior, just enough time to adjust, but not enough time to be ready for Zoms. This is a 12th and Critical in a 1v4. It's doom and gloom for Built by Gamers as Sentinels stampede their way here on Haven, and all it's gonna take, one more frag in one more round to find themselves a spot in the top 8 or the quarterfinals. Valorant Champions Tour Open Qualifiers #1, and there he goes. Critical down and Sentinels at 12.
It's called Challengers for a reason. BBG, very much the challenger, very much the underdog coming into this game. Sentinels, they seemed mortal coming into this tournament, coming into this game in general, dropping a map to Serenity on their best map, on the map that they were known for. They end up making it back. Then against BBG, I mean, especially here on Haven. They stomp them out. 12-3 still. There's still a chance somehow for BBG. But Sentinels, they're shutting down the challengers, and they're coming up. They're rising up to the challenge, and they're making this theirs. BBG, they are starting things off hot, though, as Rob Wiz and Will both collect some massive frags on their own.
Sick push down long, though, and there's at least a re-aggression from Sinatra, but he's got no idea what's awaiting for him. He's been quiet all game long. Well, here's your chance. There's the peek, there's the jiggle, but he doesn't take the bait. Rob Wiz, they're going down. It's Sinatra out of nowhere. It's nothing into something. The king of Valorant and Sinatra's got another pupil. 4 kills, and just like that, the series is done. Sinatra goes up huge, and Sentinels are through to the quarterfinals.
Not only the quarterfinals, but the closed qualifier here for challengers. Congratulations, Sentinels.
My God, what a way to close out. Sinatra. Jaw is on the floor right now. Sinatra, I literally said that. He's got no idea what's coming. And then he pulls that off. Sinatra. That had to be the play of that game. I would be honest, that was insane.
Play of the day, who knows? I mean, maybe the stakes were a little bit lower. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know at this point. We've seen a couple of insane plays. I think one play just happened, I think off stream too, where Wardell. Remember the judge that we actually had for Mina? Yeah. No, Wardell got another one off of it. He actually got an ace off the judge. One clip.
Okay.
But it is what it is, right? We do have the boys of Sentinels moving on into the quarterfinals in amazing fashion. And again, coming into this one, we try to really convey the fact that BBG were some true fighters coming into this game. I mean, they just took down Space Station Gaming, an other team that would have put up a huge fight against this Sentinels roster. But in the end, Sentinels, they've come back to form.
Yeah, I mean, this entire day has been, I feel like, a weird setup where top teams in North America were vulnerable, right? You mentioned Serenity showing that there were cracks in the armor of Sentinels, and we saw that here, especially on map number 1. Definitely maybe not on map number 2. I mean, Haven was just Sentinels all day long, but throughout this entire qualifier, we've seen Tier 1 teams fall. Obviously, 100 Thieves taken down by Carpe Noctem. Just recently, T1 falling to Andbox. Our 3 confirmed teams so far in the quarterfinals are Gen G, Andbox, and obviously here, Sentinels. So we've got 5 more teams waiting, but what a day it's been, Gus. So much talent presented. Our first best of 3 with Complexity and Equinox. That was a banger. Equinox looks so good. And Sentinels, we had our doubts. We had our thoughts. But they proved us wrong here in a quick 2-0 sweep.
I mean, what a day, right? I mean, we still had what would be banger games here on stream. And again, it's called an open qualifier for a reason. We want to showcase as much talent as possible, and we got a great variety of it, spanning between both Tier 1 and Tier 2. And again, Equinox, a team that, to me, had a huge chance to really open some eyes coming into this tournament, still taking up their first game a little bit earlier. If I'm not mistaken, they're still playing their set as we speak, or might even be finishing it up. But now here for Sentinels, we see a return of what is now the players, the team, trying to regain the crown that they ended up losing back at First Strike. Because, man, oh man, there was, I think Valorant, in general, they've been hyping up 100 Thieves as these kings. How heavy is the crown? And I think for now, Sentinels, they might actually be ready to take on that crown and fully become the kings of Valorant. But we are a long way away from it. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are watching the Valorant Challengers. It is only the first edition of it. There's still 2 more opportunities for 100 Thieves and all the Tier 1 teams that ended up going down, or even the Tier 2s that might have a little bit of opportunities. But ladies and gentlemen, our broadcast just is not over. We have to look out for what is the best play of the day. It is Mike and Ike's sweet play of the broadcast.
Ada suaranya nggak? Ada suaranya nggak? Coba. Kok nggak keluar lagi ya? Cek. Desktop audionya kok properties. Iya, audionya langsung mati nih.
North America broadcast. It's been a fun one, but before we go, you guys already saw what I was repping a little bit earlier. Of course, we have to thank our broadcast partner, or our partner for this Challenger series. It is none other than HyperX. Folks, you guys want something comfortable? Again, I can personally vouch for it. Legendary comfort goes wireless too with the HyperX Cloud 2 wireless, built to be on an ultra comfortable gaming headset with amazing sound. It's no wonder that it's become the preferred gaming headset for millions of gamers, including myself. I love my wireless HyperX headset. I use it every time that I game, and ladies and gentlemen, you guys should too. Thank you so much to HyperX for supporting NSG and the Valorant Challengers. But for now, we are out of here. Tomorrow, we have quarterfinals action here for Valorant Challengers #1. But for now, my name is Upmind. You can follow me on Twitter at Upmind_. You can follow my boy Sully here at SullyCast. And for now, we're out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Kita lanjutkan besok ya, karena adalah untuk ke depan ini kita nonton bareng ya. Oke, kita lihat besok itu jadwalnya apa ya. Sama. Apa tadi kompleksiti? Bukan sudah. Oke, ya udah guys, kita lanjutkan besok. Semoga aku besok bisa bangun pagi. Terus apa lagi ya? Aku juga minta maaf kalau misalnya masih ribet sama live streamnya, soalnya ini aku pertama kali live stream lancar. Terus semoga kedepannya bisa kita live stream lancar. Oke, terima kasih teman-teman yang sudah nonton. Jangan lupa untuk like, comment, share, dan subscribe ya, karena setiap minggunya pasti ada video baru. Dan buat teman-teman yang belum subscribe, di subscribe ya guys. Oke, terima kasih dan kita ketemu lagi di next video. Oke.